everybody, and welcome to Adrift in Aldhalor, our weekly actual play D&D show set in our homebrew world of Aradun. Our music is licensed through musicbed.com. Occasionally we use some ambiance from Tabletop Audio or Sirenscape, but we're more so keeping it to the music these days. I am going to bring on... Oh, no.
I'm here. What?
Shannon, just talk and vamp because I forgot that Stefan wasn't here last week. So all the cameras are messed up.
So we have to fix all that. Oh dear. All right, I'll just go down here because this is where I can see.
Take that long. So just go ahead and talk, Shannon.
Okay. I'll just Oh wait, I went too far. All right, I'm gonna just sit like this until it gets fixed.
There's two Shannons now.
There's two of me.
All
okay,
right, you're fixed now, Shannon.
Okay, great. Oh yeah, look at that. There was two of me. That's weird. All right, I'm just gonna start talking about our partners, cause gonna start with Arcane Spectacles. Step into Arcane Spectacles, where every roll of the dice is an adventure. Their exotic wood dice vault and hand-selected dice sets are the perfect treasure for any tabletop RPG enthusiast. And with their personalized D&D themed ornaments, you can keep the magic of your games alive all year round. Each ornament can be customized with your party's names, making it a unique and meaningful memento. So why wait? Join them at arcanespectacles.com and roll for the ultimate tabletop experience. Next, we have Underground Oracle Publishing. They are a best-selling, Emmy-nominated TTRPG publisher building new and exciting settings for the cypher system of every genre you can imagine. Each setting includes everything that you need to explore its unique world, including lore, species, descriptors, foci, creatures, ciphers, and artifacts, and all of the rules that you need to play. For as little as $3, you can join their Patreon and help shape each of the worlds that they create. Next is Edward Yorke. Eddie is our beloved character artist. He's an illustrator based in the UK who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. And last but not least, we've got 1985 Games. They create affordable, accessible, high-quality accessories for D&D and other TTRPGs. Sean uses their NPC cards to help bring such deep and very amazing canonical characters to life. So if you would like to purchase those or any of their other amazing items, you can do so, and make sure you use the code Paradice Prod for 10% off your entire order. We have recaps, we have VODs, all on our Discord. So if you have not yet joined us on Discord, please do. We'd love to have you there. You can also find us on Blue Sky, Twitch, Twitter/X, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Do you still need me to vamp, Sean?
Oh, no. It was actually really easy to fix.
Okay, great.
Because I actually did the smart thing and have different camera setups ready to go.
You sure don't need me to riff, Sean?
Definitely don't need you to riff.
I can also fill the air, too.
No!
Last we left off, Iron and Mana continued their journey to the Gosu Haunt after a nearly deadly encounter with the Bone Rattler. Crew spent their time on deck and below, trying to recover from this threat. Septimus questioned Sal on his odd behavior of late. The Machina revealed something called to him from the west, something that felt like home to him. Septimus asked if he wished to pursue this feeling, but Sal said no. He no longer needed that home. He asked Septimus to refrain from shutting him down in the evenings, as he feared the empty place his mind goes when shut down. Septimus started to see more of a personhood within Sal with this revelation. A fear of death, even. Elsewhere, Bruce asked Saskia to scry on his grandmother. She was able to see the old kobold asleep by her hearth with her knitting needles and a half-eaten brownie on a plate as her gnomish jazz played in the background. Knowing that she was okay calmed Bruce. Later that evening, Fearn experienced one of his dreams via the mask. He met with the same stranger he met in the prior dream, cloaked in black robes with a large graying beard and blue eyes. they met in a place he called the Gates of Respite. Fearn learned more about the mask and its purpose, as well as about the spirit that dwells within it. This stranger warned Fearn of the responsibility he now possesses, and the journey he must take to return the mask. The next few days of travel brought peculiarities, but less danger at first. Fearn also learned some clues about the identity of this stranger. He called the Gosu Haunt his lands, and the spirits there that he tries to calm his people, revealing that they had been betrayed at one point. But anyway, once the party and the oddly seaworthy entered the haunt, the days grew stranger. They found a survivor of a shipwreck. This captain promised them silver if they got him safely to Stormbreaker Landing. He seemed haunted by his experience. His ship had crashed amongst the jagged rocks and ruins of Stormbreaker Landing. And he warned the party that they would not be able to dock in the port itself, but would need to take a rowboat in. Otherwise, they would suffer the same fate as his crew. The ship pressed on as the ice and cold began taking its toll on the crew, and the landscapes grew harsher. Eventually, the party arrived amongst the ruins of an old city half sunken beneath the sea. They saw ghosts amongst these ruins. They did their best to avoid and respect these spirits at the warning of Sass, but they seemed to feed on the warmth and the life of the ship. Sass and Fearn helped the crew to keep time. Septimus had earlier began blessing the ship in hopes that it would help the voyage, which seemed all the more needed at this point. And then, of course, he blessed the ship in a much grander way by casting, what is the spell again? Magic circle on the ship, which helped keep the crew from, quite frankly, losing their minds. At last, the party reached the point where the ship could go no further, and a boat must be used to get to the landing. Almira, the captain's daughter, agreed to escort them and returned with the rowboat. Thus you embarked into the graveyard that once was Stormbreaker Landing. You found eerie green lights amongst the ruins, and atop the lighthouse of the concave semicircle walls of the harbor. But the ghosts of this place followed you and took note of your trespassing. As your ship sifted through the heaps of trash and detritus that made up these almost thick waters. You brought Captain Alpheon with you as promised, but his fears overtook him, and in a desperate plea for help, he rushed to escape the boat. Uncertain and fearful herself, Saskia reached out and almost instinctually cast a vampiric touch on the man in hopes of stopping him, but not killing him. Unfortunately, new to these powers, and perhaps underestimating her skills, the spell was too much and killed the man. His body began to turn to dust, and suddenly that dust swirled into a spectral form, much like the ghostly guards that began appearing from the ramparts. One such spirit struck your vessel with a large spear, causing the wood itself to rot and decay. And the boat began to fill with water as Fearn rushed and rowed, being beckoned by Sass to get out of there as quickly as possible. The waters themselves around you hungered to devour you. He rowed as fast as he could. In the final moments of this voyage, some monstrous and invisible entity began ripping through the ruined port to hunt you down. Something vast and invisible, something hungry. But as your rowboat reached the lone pier and into the warmth of the lone lantern of this pier, and you stepped onto that sanctuary, the invisible monster seemingly vanished. The waters calmed, and your rowboat rotted to nothing in the water as you arrived. a lone voice called out from the shack by the pier, asking who's there. So, you stand on this pier, surrounded still by these spectral spirits. They just have stopped ceasing towards you. So you look. Yes. Even though you're within the light of this lantern, they are almost on the outskirts of the light. If a light can give off, this light gives off roughly 40 feet around it, a bright light, and then dim light for another 40 beyond it. They are lingering within the dim light. And like I said, the spirit that attacked your ship had a helmet that looked like it had caved into its face, like some bludgeoning weapon had killed this entity. These spectral guards similarly have wounds across their bodies. They're mangled in several ways. At one point, probably just the guard of this port city. And this place is larger than you imagined it to be. The exterior. There at one point, this was a small settlement, but still something that had robust walls, robust guard, robust buildings that extended down the coast that you had previously ascended. Now all ruined except for this one shack. You would look now and see the person who has stepped out from the from the shack and stares off at you. He's quite tall, probably 6 foot and change. Not as tall as Fearn, but close. He has a round belly, but he looks, despite the weight there, he has a emaciated look to him still. Like, sure, he may not be bone thin, but he is not well nourished. He wears a long faded red coat, like a long leather coat that has a reddish hue to it that has seen better days. Ragged, covered in patches that he clearly sewed on himself. He has connected mutton chops to a mustache of this graying red hair with a lot of scruff. Like, he does not shave regularly, but he does enough to keep the shape of his facial hair. Somewhat ragged red hair. You can see he has a receding hairline, but he does have a hood to this jacket over his head right now. The more insightful of you out there would pick up that he has some kind of band across his head, like a very, very simplistic crown made of a very dull metal. He has several items strapped to his chest that look a bit strange to you all. They are these discs that have various it almost looks like labyrinths on them, in the way that there's empty space on several lines that go onto right angles. But overall, it's all connected into a disc that has, if someone put like a labyrinth print onto something, a disc, and you can see through the empty spaces of the labyrinth. He has several of them. They're all made of a gold-like metal. And then he has what looks like a walking stick, but at the head of it has this almost horseshoe-shaped metal bar that looks like you slide these rings into it. And then a sort of part of that horseshoe is a part that comes off like a hook. That you can see he immediately grabs the lantern and places it on that hook and starts to walk with it as he walks towards you. He walks very slow and with a slight limp of a possible bad knee or an old wound as he comes closer. And he repeats himself. Who are you? Adventurers not come through here. He lets out like a scoff mingled with a laugh as you would see his teeth now are quite unkept. His business. What sort of business do you have in the haunt? He kind of looks at you suspiciously, and then you see he takes a few steps closer and he like holds the walking stick with the lantern on the end closer to you all. He's gotten like within 20 feet of you at this point, and you can see he's like analyzing you as he's holding this light up to you all. And as he holds the light up to you, you can see the light is not like, it's not the orange red of a flame. It's more golden in its coloration. And he is clearly like looking at you now with a face of, are you real? Like he's looking at you like you're a hallucination. His face is kind of contorting as he's like, ah. And then he kind of very pointedly brings the staff back and taps it on the pier as if he's made his decision. You don't know what it is, but he's made some kind of decision in his mind. Well, if you've come to join the ranks of the specters, and he holds up his staff again and kind of waves it in the air, and you can see the specters kind of flow a little bit away from it as it's moving across. Suppose I can't stop you. But I am Norlin Lothamos. Scion of my home and my house. And once you've sort of properly introduced yourself, he comes closer now. Those metal discs jingling against his leather coat. And he looks you up and down, Septimus, and he just holds a hand out to you. And he sort of like grabs your hand and really like squeezes it, not in the sense of like someone just giving a firm handshake to express dominance or something. He's literally making sure you are corporeal. He really like squeezes your hand and then like looks to you and he smiles a little bit. Real adventurers. Yes. Come. There's not much room, but you can at least rest for a moment in my home. This way. And you best keep close. As And Almira, this whole exchange has just been like ghost white and eyes wide. She's been somewhat stricken quiet by the dramatic entrance to this land. She's pretty in shock, I would say. Like I said last session while you were entering this area, like being within the Gosu Haunt reminded you all of the inherent constitution you all bear as adventurers, and how even the sturdiest of this crew, in the form of Almira and her father, are deeply impacted by what may only scratch the surface of your constitution. So she is pretty out for the count, and easily startled as you're moving up this pier. It creaks and groans, and your minds might wander to the now rotted rowboat behind you and how this wood is not succumbing to the death here. And how the spirits around you seem to almost encapsulate you as if they were a bulwark of their own, ramparts themselves, now in the 40-foot sphere around you. Everywhere you look, you catch the dead faces. And the land itself, as soon as you step onto it, is soft but firm, almost as if it's covered in this blue-gray, spindly moss. You can see some cobblestone, ancient, underneath it. Yes. So if you were to take a peek once you step onto the land, give me a perception check, Fearon. And anyone else who would like to just do a quick, if they want to perceive some of the exterior of the landed part where you're actually off the water and onto the land, may do so as well. And if you have something specific you're looking for, let me know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Fearn, looking up the now kind of this rotted over cobblestone road that you're looking up. You can see a wretched courtyard that once was, with a fountain in the center, a multi-tiered fountain. There does seem to be that same green, off-putting green glow coming off of the waters within this fountain. Everything seems to be very overgrown in this area, and a lot of decrepit parts as well. Outside of where this light generally stands, you can see the wood of old structures is rotted over, but also like overgrown with this spindly moss, as well as other plant life or fungal life that you've never seen before. You don't see any immediate spirits that are sort of like standing there, openly staring at you, like the ones that are floating above. But with a 19, you're much more likely to catch these very quick glimpses, almost like as soon as you see them, they disappear, of faces. Sometimes those faces almost look like they meld in with the environment. And you certainly see several pairs of pinpoint lights that are like eyes with nothing to them but the 2 pinpoint lights inside the buildings, inside the overgrown brush. Beyond that, Fearon, you would see this cobbled road leads through this courtyard to an old gate. That does have one door intact, and the other door is sort of collapsed off its hinges. That is the only escape route, because basically the courtyard splits into 2 streets that go up left and right, and then meet a set of stairs that leads up to the ramparts that then lead to the 2 lighthouses. Septimus, what were you looking for again? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's very similar to what you saw of the sunken areas by the water, where it's anything living seems to be either rotted away or has sort of been overcome by this moss and fungus. The buildings are rotting away. The stone structures are standing as they are, but of course have crawling moss coming up them. In various areas, there is the eerie green light that is sometimes seen as a singular like orb sphere. In some places, seen as more of a miasma. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I mean, if you're just looking at the from where you are currently, so yeah, so there's a general dense fog to the area that hangs low. You look out to sea, it is completely kind of encapsulated within this fog. Try to look past the walls and through the gate, and you can see there are the tops of trees out there that are leafless and sort of more like spindly hands reaching up into the sky, where you can see some of this miasma grows out there as well. Perhaps it's not as concentrated as it is here, where it's like the very, like you take one step and it's just sort of thick in the air, and everything just sort of has this necrotic energy. It's likely similar out in the wilds of this area or on the road, but just not as concentrated. Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. Hold up, everybody. No, the stream can only hear me. Can one of you say something?
Check 1, 2.
There
Mark,
we
stop
go.
playing Sea of Thieves.
There we go. They should be able to hear you all now.
Yeah, it's coming through.
Thanks,
Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Yes. So yeah, hopefully you can get some context from the answers I gave to the questions they were asking. Thank you. Sorry, can you repeat yourself, Clay?
Sure. So Fiern's a little, he's nervous about the situation that they're in and doesn't feel comfortable going into the cottage. So he's going to wait outside the entrance to the cottage for, everybody else to go in, but he's got his head on a swivel and he's looking very panicked, but he's keeping his mouth shut about the whole situation because he doesn't want to, ruin the situation, he doesn't want to be impolite to this new person, even though he doesn't really trust them.
Yeah, totally. So he does take the lantern off and put it back on its post next to the shack, and opens the door and steps inside. Those of you can follow right away. But inside, it's very small. It's very small. This is a one floor shack. We're talking probably like 15 by 15. Think real like Hagrid's hut vibes. As there's just sort of one bed, one stovepat, a ton of herbs hanging from the rafters above and drying. A butcher's block that is sort of stained red from old. It doesn't look like it gets used that often right now. So everything in here is just like dry and crispy and dusty, like you've entered into like your grandparents' attic. It's unpleasant in a different way from outside. A more human way, a more everyday unpleasant than outside. So he kind of steps inside and sort of very quickly brushes off some old furs and stuff off of what looks to be a seating area around a table where there are a couple chairs, but there's not enough for everyone. Some folks will have to stand. As he sort of quickly rushes over and begins to sort of light different candles and other things in here to give it a more warm feeling. There is a ever-present creaking, though, to the shack, as if the spirits are still affecting it despite the light. Almost like any building here or anything of wood just sort of twists slowly in some ways to give that uncomfortable creaking noise.
Wait, were you just hanging out here in the dark? Also, what are you doing out here?
What am I doing out here? I wasn't hanging out in the dark. I was sitting by the stove.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
As you can see, there is a cauldron there that is boiling. He is making something in there. And I'm not just, as you said, out here. This is my home.
Yeah, but this is a dangerous place.
I think what my friend's trying to say is what in the hell's happened? What is the surrounding evil that's everywhere?
Not really was, but okay.
I don't think that's what he meant, but lot of things have happened over a long period of time. We don't have people coming through this these parts. It has been... It must be a decade since I've seen someone port here. I'm sure you've heard stories of the sickness that holds the Gosu Highlands. The ice. And the cold. Well, they call it a haunt for a reason. It's not exactly just winter up here. It's been this way for a while. And I am the last of this port. The last of this city. The last of my family. And I have a duty to tend to this fort. And, albeit rarely, greet passengers who come through, as my family has for generations.
I'm sorry, you're saying you're the only inhabitant of Stormbreaker's Landing?
Well,
Living. And Jacques goes for a high five, like, huh?
he just sort of stares at it and like taps it with the walking stick.
Yeah. No, besides, Jacques gestures to the space around, outside the cabin.
Well, there were more people here a year ago. But the Great Storm, as I've heard it called, or I called it, wiped out most of who's left in this part of the haunt. The land was sick before that, but not all of it was sunken and dead. There used to be much more of these lanterns in the city.
Is there any way we can help you? Maybe make things a little bit better around here? Like, we have a quest, but if it...
Got a side quest for us, buddy?
If it, you know, it seems like you live a harsh life, and, you know...
I mean, he could probably leave whenever he wants.
He probably saved hours just from being here. So, whatever we can do to help.
Well, he's able to get a source of food if he's able to... Right, is that food in the cauldron?
I believe some of you have a misunderstanding of where you are. In the way
Usually.
you speak.
Perhaps.
I have ample food stores. And the lantern allows me to go out of the city. I did not leave because it is my duty to watch this port, as my family has. And I will not leave until at least the lighthouse lights with pure light again. And from what I understand of adventurers, from my memory, is you all lot don't really do things out of the kindness of your heart.
Jacques visibly rolls his eyes.
And silver is practically worthless here.
You know, you're probably on the right path there, that we usually don't work for free. But between us and you, our reputation could use a bit of a... Jacques gestures with a thumbs up. So if Iron and Mana could make this place a little safer and viable, I think that would work wonders for both our reputation and you and, you know, your living situation. So why don't you tell us what exactly is going on with all this? And he gestures like out the window stuff.
Well, It started many years ago when I was much, much younger.
Sorry, the abridged version.
Let the man speak.
Okay. It's just Jacques taps his wrist.
Do you have somewhere
watches
to be?
everything. Anywhere but here. Are you kidding me? It's fucking creepy out there.
As I said, there is a sickness in the Gosu Haunt that has creeped its way out over many decades. It has reached a peak in the last decade. It started slow. As you can imagine, waking dead. But it grew more insatiable in its hunger for life and warmth, and began to overtake the very land itself. A creeping undeath came in the Northern Highlands first, down to, in the most recent years, reaching the Southlands of the Gosu Highlands. Up north, it's practically completely abandoned, other than mad folk, and stranger than that. The old cities, the old capital of Samalto is frozen over. Sir Kanto and Stormbreaker Landing were all that remained. And refugees fled south, eventually dispersed out until it was just those who had a sense of belonging and duty to the land. It's when we were at our weakest, and there were the fewest of us, this creeping undeath latched on further. And we began to see, perhaps freed from the ice, this moss and fungal growths, a rot on the land. This began to have rapid effects. You can hold off creeping decay, repair things, hold your lantern stern, but when the wood beams of a structure rot in the matter of minutes, there's not much to do. And when every single soul that begins to die doesn't leave, you can see how a rapid decline can happen. Simple undead creatures, zombies, ghouls, those things are usually isolated to a small dungeon or a haunted graveyard, or easily dealt with by a cleric. But
Jacques points over to Septimus, like, we got a cleric.
these creatures are different. There's something else that drives them.
Do you have any idea what the origin is?
All we know is it comes from the north.
How are you able to stave off its spread? That's gesturing to the lantern.
He taps the bottom of his walking stick to a large ceramic jar that he takes the top off, and you can see, and he reaches his hand in and pulls out this dried leaf that has this off color to it, this sort of pale yellow, and
Kingsfoil.
no, that's a weed. This is my last jar. Blessed wort. It's what keeps them at bay.
Your last jar. So
Hard to-
you would not be able to hold out much longer.
Not unless something's done about my port, but
Where does this blessed word come from?
it used to grow. Well, it likely still grows in the highlands. The old monks of the city temples. Samalto used to harvest it and refine it, and it was meant to stave off evil spirits. Truly, if I'm being honest with you, when I was a young lad, it was popular amongst folk to not really believe it did anything at all other than have a pleasant smell in the air when you burned it. It really wasn't until creeping and death came that people started to notice that your family didn't die in the night when you burned it. Burns for a long time. It's how have they been able to keep it for so long.
Wow.
Have you ever tried to venture to the Highlands yourself to get more and sustain yourself?
I haven't, out of fear of leaving my city for too long, and also out of fear of wasting it on a long, expensive voyage north. There are a few, from what I hope, who still live in Serkanto, who make the journey. But it's been less and less, and I have not been to Serkanto in years.
How far is the journey to Serkanto?
It's a couple
Roughly.
days along the road, up the river.
Now about this lighthouse that you says that if it were to illuminate crest, a bigger aura, what powers that? What drives that? That's not this wart, is it? Is it a different kind of magic?
That powers the lighthouse as we speak. The dark miasma above is not blessed wart. It is something else. Whatever rot. I have tried to make my way up the ramparts, but the spirits are too many, and the lantern can stave off the regular spirits, but I have not tempted the creatures in the lighthouse. It just barely is strong enough to keep whatever is in the bay from coming on land.
So, do you have a recommendation on how we approach these heightened spirits?
Well, if you don't have your own supply of blessed wart, you need some other way of concealing yourself, from what I understand. They have incredible perceptive skills. When close to them, if you keep your distance, they are not very perceptive at all, actually. Stay 25, 30 feet away from them and keep yourself quiet. You can sneak past the guard wraiths. Larger creatures, on the other hand, larger spirits are a bit more troublesome. If a single guard notices you, tends to alert most of the spirits in the area. Or at the very least alerts whatever creature they're bound to, or that is leading them, I suppose. I presume from the racket out there that you had interacted with one of these spirits, and the large ghost in the water came after you.
There was some sort
Right.
of creature we could not see, but it was definitely there. Large and menacing. Splashing through the water. Thankfully, we crossed over the boundary of your alliance. Or who knows what would have happened.
Go ahead.
From the Saskia wouldn't have taken a chair, so she would have been just standing. So from the shadows, you hear Sass say, I can make 3 of us plus myself invisible. So if anyone else has means of turning invisible, that could help.
I think I
I can
could.
basically be invisible whenever I want.
I can create a shroud of darkness and teleport, but no invisibility.
The creatures out there, invisibility will help you, but I still recommend staying away from them, keeping your distance.
Bruce,
Well-
you were gonna say something?
No, I could also, if we wait a day, I could cast invisibility.
Okay.
Spell, you know.
Sure. A day.
Just need a day, yeah. 1 day.
I don't think.
Well, we need. If to refresh my memory, our plan was to get to Sercanto and then venture north from there.
Yes.
Well, I'll say that outright. It's like, well, we need to travel to Sercanto to continue our journey. If there's any aid or, I guess, advice you can give us to getting there, we'd happily try to repay you somehow. Because honestly, it looks like you need it as well.
You don't want to try to start up the lighthouse?
Maybe we can trade for some of that Blesswort. I know it's a finite resource, but if we do something for you, maybe you'd be willing to give some up.
Well, if you...
So what my friend was going to say here, if you want us to try to stave off the undead and try to relight the lighthouse, give you some time to, not give you some time, but give you a little bit more security. And if you would be able to provide the rest of your wart for us so we can travel to Sercanto, we'll need to make a return trip. Be sure to bring you back as much as you need.
And if the lighthouse is lit, would any ships potentially be able to come into port then?
much more likely.
And with that, Jacques kind of like claps Almira on like the shoulder and goes,
See? We haven't forgotten about you.
Yeah.
And that does actually get her, like, knocks her out of that comatose-like state, as you can see thoughts running back into her head. I could stay here and help until you're able to clear the lighthouse. If there's anything you need, sir. I suppose if you can get the lighthouse lit, maybe bring a little bit of the blessed wort up there with you. It would make this place much safer, and perhaps I can begin cleaning up. It's quite a vast structure to get to the top. Doubles as an astrology tower.
just hear Jacques from like the side, like the background, just being like,
Of course, it's more than just a lighthouse. It's never just a thing. It's always something and a something else. Next, you're gonna say there's
not
a
just
dragon that lurks under it, hmm?
And the catacombs are found on the top.
Oh, they buried their dead in the attic.
I haven't been able to get into that tower in a long time. There are also maps in there.
Oh.
If you truly are wishing to venture north, I could spare some of these maps.
That would be
Wow.
pretty good.
And it sounds like we have our plan. What does it take to restart the lighthouse? Surely it's not just a simple bonfire, right?
No, it requires... Well, I suppose you could just light it like a bonfire, but that wouldn't do us much good. You can get it relit with some of the blessed wort. Follow a certain ritual that has been in my family for years that I can give you.
Of course, there's a ritual. Sorry.
Again, I don't think he understands where he is.
Oh, I know fully well where I am. And if I was not doing this, I would look more like her. And Jacquet's gesturing behind him at Saskia.
He just
He
doesn't
knows he's a
understand.
rude bastard.
He doesn't understand what keeps him safe. It's the rituals and the magic practice.
Or being quick on your feet and smart in your head.
Or just staying out of trouble in the first place. But here we are.
Yeah, well, I find, or at least the people of my lands have found, that staying out of trouble often is how you lead trouble right to your door. Some trouble seeks you out.
Right, so you've had experiences getting up to the lighthouse, at least. Do you suppose we try to save our blessed ward, or do you have a certain path or method of getting there safely and quickly?
Well, the path is up the stairs, along the ramparts to the front entrance. At least that's the one I know.
Easy.
Of course, the guard wraiths are most present on the ramparts.
But he's for, Jacquet says, gesturing to Septimus. I'm sure you've got some kind of anti-undead magic, right? You're a cleric. You have to. I think it's the law.
I think there's something that I might be able to whip up.
This is a law.
Hells yeah.
Does the what?
Said the law. Does the law apply here?
I meant like the laws of reality and like, you know, the realms.
Yeah, I got it. It's just being.
No, you had your one funny joke, Bruce. You don't get another one. That's what I'm here for.
That's true. Yeah.
What about, have you ever tried a distraction? Do these wraiths, are they gullible?
No. Unless you have a sacrificial lamb at the ready.
And at the top of the lighthouse, you could see through the. Yeah, it's a lighthouse. What am I saying? How about they're on the outside? Like, are there spirits around the outside of the lighthouse?
I think there's spirits all around, Bruce. We're gonna need to fight our way up to the top.
There's an accumulation, yes. And as you can see from outside, the spirits don't keep their feet on the ground. And it's not just these spirits, there's other creatures that have accumulated within these walls. From the stories from the north before Sumalto fell, the more death there is, the more accumulates. There are the guard wraiths, there are haunts, there are creatures made of living blood, corpse fiends, hoarders that gather such corpses. I hear them at night when I try to rest, dragging bones and whatever's left of my people through the cobblestones to the tower.
Alright, by the Crescent Heart, we get it. It's fucked up.
Yeah. Well, be careful.
I suppose you'd rather me tell you about the living blood and corpse hoarders before you get up there.
I need to use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Please. Southerners would raise a hand in like all seriousness and be like, tell me everything you know. And you don't have to go into it, but like anything, like information you can give him, he'll sit there and like astutely listen to be as prepared as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
Fionn's
don't kiss
also
with Bruce.
interested.
Imagine that the two there is like a little outhouse in the back, or I can imagine you guys just literally are standing on the other side of the room.
No. We're not pissing in this man's shack, Sean. We have a little decorum.
Pissing in his cauldron.
That's all it is piss in there. No, he would, with a sobering seriousness, he would tell you about the different entities he's encountered.
Mhm.
The guard wraiths seem to be sort of the everyday wraiths that you'll find in these lands. Anyone who dies in the Gosu Haunt becomes a wraith in some fashion. Some people who die, though, their wraiths don't leave the proximity of their corpse, and these corpses can get accumulated, and as they accumulate, they kind of almost meld into larger wraiths called haunts. And then there are, for lack of a better way to put it, haunted constructs that exist in this area as well. They're not machina.
Mechanical. Yeah, I figured.
They're more
They're just like flesh, haunts.
Like poltergeists.
Yeah, they sort of are flesh and sinew and bone that accumulates into a animated structure that has sort of a will similar to a very simplistic wild machina, something that has a single purpose and just does it. That's what he refers to as these hoarders that gather up the corpses to bring them together to create more of themselves and also to create haunts, as well as the living blood creatures that come from the putrid blood.
Any information about maybe that invisible thing that was chasing us?
That is the one thing he doesn't have a lot of information on. All he knows it exists. He knows that it's sort of the dominant essence of the evil here. He doesn't know how to.
Does he know if it's only one or several?
He has only ever seen what he perceives as one, since it's invisible. He doesn't know if that's the same one he keeps seeing.
Has he ever tried to fight outside of his lantern? Like, if they're surrounding the lantern, can he like ward them off with the weapon and like not go outside of the light, or like safely dispatch them?
He would basically describe how it would take the most dire of circumstances for him to do anything without the lantern, or approach anything without being within the lantern's light. It would have to be a situation where the lantern's out of his hands and he needs to go get something, but he is meticulous about ensuring that he is within the lantern's light at all times.
So yeah, he would never take a sword outside of the lantern.
I'm pretty sure that's what we will need to do. We will be outside the lantern's light. We're not bringing the lantern with us.
I mean,
because then he has no light.
He has spare bloomwort. We could just light up another, maybe a small torch or something.
Blessed wood.
For our way back, maybe. If something bad happens, we could use it as an emergency protective measure.
Well, since you are doing this to hopefully help me preserve my stock of blessed wort, I can perhaps spare a little bit to perhaps not light another torch or lantern for you, but provide a elixir of sort that might give you some concealment. Or stave off the death around you. Won't be as robust as the lantern, but it may help.
We'll take whatever you can give us.
Well, then I will start brewing.
Fion's gonna go outside and just start looking at
peeing.
Yeah, to where Bruce is peeing, and
Jacquet is also peeing out there with Bruce. It's the two of you
releasing his motor oil.
Yes, releasing his magic oil. You have to remember to always get Sal's magic oil change, otherwise he can get all gunked up. But the last thing he would say, though, before going to do his elixirs is just simply that certain aspects of reality are twisted and bent here and don't make sense beyond just the undeath that is all around. He remarks upon seeing gravity not make sense in some places, where he's noticed water trickling upwards as if pouring down from a ceiling, blood included in that, in some of these rancid pools of blood. And just there's certain things that just don't quite make sense and have little explanation as to why they are twisting, why reality is twisting.
Okay.
And that you should particularly avoid pools of ichor, pools of this putrid blood.
So from the outside, are there still wraiths, basically patrolling the light?
The wraiths
dim
have calmed down a little bit. There's less of them surrounding the bubble. They're honestly, most of them have returned to the ramparts. There's only a few clustered, and he may not notice this because he can't see, but there are a few clustered above Bruce where he's peeing right now.
Bruce has no idea.
I'll look up.
Why not?
I don't know.
All right. I
So
expect you to pee farther than me.
We're all friends here.
So Sphere kind of sees those ghosts that are still nearby as an opportunity to test out, what might work against them in his arsenal. So he's gonna shoot a spell over, maybe a ray of frost, just to see if it, dispatches them or damages them. It's like what happens.
Okay. So go ahead and give me an attack roll.
Sure. 21 to hit, Sean. Actually, it would be higher than that. It would be 26.
That will hit as the ray of frost sort of bursts from your hand. I don't know how. Yeah.
No, it comes from my tail, Sean.
You can see it does disperse them a little bit in the sense that they react to it in the sense of something has disturbed their space. But the one you aimed at, the frost sort of it hits them and just sort of gets absorbed into their spiritual essence. You almost see like the cold just dissipates through them. You can see a little bit of that fog forms around them and a little bit of almost like snow drifts off of them. But they do not take any damage from it.
Cool. Let's try something else. Can I throw my use my catapult feature on my weapon to huck a boulder at them without like breaking the outhouse?
Yeah, just don't aim at the outhouse.
Okay,
they're above the
above
outhouse. They're above the outhouse. Yeah.
I really don't want to smash our new friend's house. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, of course,
I
of
might
course.
not do it. I think it's a saving throw.
It is,
if
yeah,
I
it's a
remember
dexterity
correctly.
saving throw. So the spirit is able to, it just doesn't hit the spirit, like it dodges it with its dexterity roll. I got a 19 on the dice.
And I do it again.
Yeah, and I'll save us a million saving throws by the
Thank you.
eventually it does strike the creature.
You guys hear some thumps outside. Like, don't worry about it.
This is disrupting a lot. Like you can see, like each time the boulder flies through it and lands, it sort of kicks up some dust, kicks up some miasma, disrupts the ruins around, and as you rip it back, it disrupts it further. As this thing can take physical damage. It does seem to be resistant to that physical damage.
Okay, it has thunder damage as well.
It is resistant to that as well.
Damn. Okay.
But each boulder that goes into a plot of land does seem to almost make the land bleed. these coagulated, really like dark red. It's not like red of fresh blood. It's pus like. It's putrid. It's more thick, and has this dark red to it. As you would see after you kind of finish your experiment, and several of these spirits are all now like kind of gathered around this spot, almost like they're blind and want like to anything beyond the light, but they can feel the presence. You now notice just sort of along the cobblestone road is this coagulated mass of this blood. This ooze, if you will.
It like came out of the ground, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And then you would also notice above the ruins where your boulder just kept hitting into the ground. What's your passive perception?
13.
Okay. Jacques,
And I mean,
since you're standing and kind of waiting at the outhouse, you could also give me your passive perception for this.
16.
16. Okay. Jacques, as you're watching this sort of experiment of just, you would see in the old beams of the structure that the stone was hitting into the ground of, you only notice really like one of them, but you would just slowly see an eye open with a slitted pupil with sort of a violet color to the eye of something that is sort of like latched onto that wooden beam that has been awakened.
This is on his shack?
No, this is on. So
Okay.
like Fearn was tossing a boulder, and
I see.
like
Okay.
an old ruined building that's like across the street from the shack.
Yeah, so Jacquet's gonna go, Fjern, careful before you awaken some other evil that lingers in the dark. I see some eyed creature. And he'll point it out to Fjern. Not sure what it is, but
You see it outstretches part of its body, and you can see now it's a very tiny creature.
it's tiny.
It almost looks like a hand with like this dark leathery skin with claws at the end, with an eye in the center. The eye itself is surrounded by teeth, jagged teeth, and then off the sides of the eye are two bat-like wings. And it almost crawls around like a spider with these wings.
Oh. If I could describe it, it's almost steals the light from the world. Like a thief.
While they're outside peeing and discovering creatures in the dark, I will push off from the wall and kind of shuffle forward a bit and ask Orlin his name?
I'm sorry, what?
Was Orlin
Norlin.
his name?
Norlin with an N.
Norlin. Okay, I missed that. I will ask Norlin. I have two questions. First, if someone dies in this place, do they become a part of the haunt forever?
I can't tell you for sure what happens when you kill one of these spirits. I've never killed one of the spirits, the ghosts out there.
It's not a spirit. If one of us, if we were to fall, do we become a spirit forever?
From the knowledge I have, yes.
Is there any way to come back from that?
Not that I have found. I've been trying. Sometimes the light of the sun peeks through the fog. The blessed wart is not as necessary. I keep it with me, but I don't need to burn as much. And I'll go for a walk up the road to the ends of that street behind my shack. And I visit the spirits of my siblings. And I offer herb, incense, elixir, light. But their faces remain gaunt and horrified. The creeping undeath holds them.
Right. Thank you for your information and helping us continue on our journey. I appreciate it.
When I get a chance, I'd like to come back inside. I don't know how the timing lines up.
No, yeah. It's no problem. I imagine at this point there's just sort of a uncomfortable silence as he's working with the elixir and perhaps had that conversation with Sass briefly before you walked back in. And unless there's something else you want to do outside besides piss, the other two.
Jacques, is there some of that moss growing around?
Yes.
When Bruce and him are done relieving themselves, Jacques will go, you might want to take a sample of that.
Oh, that? Oh my god.
The moss that seems to encroach over everything.
All right. Is it gonna hurt me?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just a symptom of the overall undeath shroud thing.
Yeah. I feel like that would be okay. All right. I'll take some. And
If it doesn't help us here, then maybe we can sell it at the academy. Every silver helps.
all right.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Well, why are you making me do it then?
Because you're the smart guy. This is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and the smart guy is telling you, I don't want to touch that.
So then use some fucking. And Jacques will take a dagger out and scrape some.
Hey, wait, don't disturb it.
Ah!
Bruce is gonna I don't know. I don't think I have any glass vials. Do you have a glass vials?
No, why would I have glass vials? All right, so maybe this was a dud. I just assumed you would have something.
Man comes out of the shadows with several glass vials. He got here through Felix's portal.
Through his shadow steps.
Yeah. To a new continent.
I don't have anything.
Oh, all right. Well, then never mind. I guess my idea was stupid. And
Just pour out your potion of healing and put it.
Wait, didn't somebody use a potion of healing?
A while ago,
Wasn't
before
me.
you came here, and you guys have not been
Oh, I thought
saying
it was
keeping the
on the
vials
boat.
like you did last
Was it
campaign.
on the boat? No.
I thought
We
somebody
know.
used it.
We gave.
Oh, Saskia
I thought
used
you
hers.
said on the guy,
Saskia.
the derelict man.
Did I? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think
Sure.
Sass has been saving her empty vials.
Probably
Damn it.
not.
All right, so
They're
I'm sorry. Nothing
contaminated.
happens. We go inside.
Hey, no. I don't go inside.
Do you have an alchemist's kit? Because I'm pretty sure it would just come standard with one of those.
Well, like
It
I
would.
can make tools.
But do you have one? I'm sorry. I have a poisoner's kit that comes with glass vials. I'll just put a little in that.
All right.
Okay,
Perfect.
I
There we
have
go.
this.
There we
Let's
go.
move on. Let's just fucking move on.
Okay.
Fionn comes into the cabin and says, "One last question, just in case I don't get to speak to you later." And then drops his mask and says, "Have you ever seen anything like this before?"
You also could have asked him if he had any glass vials, but not to belabor the glass vial debate. As he's pouring an elixir into some glass vials, Fear, and you asked this question.
Yes.
Sorry. He sees the mask, and he does seem like stricken with somewhat of like an intimidation, like the mask's intended to do. And he kind of bows his head towards you in a very respectful manner, as he would sort of come close to you and kind of look around to your compatriots who are sitting around and get close and sort of whisper to you, "I did not know you were a spirit bearer. What was your name again?"
They call me White Eye.
White Eye. I do know what this mask is. Or at least I know some of the lore of it. It's been a long
Yes.
time since I've seen a spirit bearer come through.
I've been having these visions. I don't know if it matches with what you do, but maybe you could help me fill in some of the blanks. An entity or a person comes to me in this land and known as the Gates of Respite and speaks to me about the ancient past of the priests that wore this mask. I'm getting that from the ghosts, I think, last session.
Yeah.
Do you know any more about this? Who I was speaking to? What they will of me?
The people of this land always held a rich tradition of passing stories down. The stories are old and may not always be true, but there's some things that will surprise you that are true in them. That's why before the Haunt became the Haunt, we had a very rich history, an understanding of even times dating back before the refounding of the Alfda Islands, before the wars in the west, before even the Sindanok in the conflict, the gods. Priests who wore that mask kept many of these stories. In their service to an old god that seems to have been forgotten with the Northern Highlands. All I know about it is that there are spirit bearers who bear these vestiges, these vestments, back to the temples of Smalto in the mountains. I've never seen a spirit bearer return to this port. I don't know what stalks that old city, or what their fates are.
I've had dreams of those temples as well. I guess it is my fate to find out.
Well, you'll need a map. And
Right.
you need some protection.
Well, we're on that. I suppose we are ready to proceed. I look at everyone as the rest of them come through the door.
The elixir that he's performed is ready, then I believe so. Gathered all the information we can about these things. We all rested up 100%. We can take a short rest.
I could use a rest.
We could take a longer one if we want, you know? I mean, yeah, if we want to go in, we could.
I mean, there's a rush. I'd rather go in fully prepared. If it's alright with you. Gesturing to the old man.
I don't wish to waste more time here than we have to.
Our survival is key. This will all be for naught if we don't succeed, so...
I mean, I suppose a short rest is fine, but do we really need to stay the night?
You're welcome to if you wish.
I'm just thinking about Almira. Her father might leave if we don't do something quickly.
Wasn't Bruce gonna send the message?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do outside.
But did you?
No, I didn't. I mean, I might have. You just didn't see it. Or hear it.
It's just pretty important, Bruce.
Alright, sorry. I was making a... Never mind.
That's my job.
I was breaking the fourth wall. Anyway. Yeah, I go outside.
What, before you leave,
Right.
clarify that we ran into some complications with the dinghy and then we lost it. Almira is fine and healthy. We're all fine.
Well,
We
we're not
promised to
all
get her
fine.
back.
There's one dead guy.
He doesn't care about it. We don't need to...
Okay.
You want to mention that to him?
No, not really. Alright.
Just say we'll need a little bit more time before we can get Almira back to him safely.
Okay.
But she is safe currently.
Yes, please make that abundantly clear.
I go outside and I take out my little pipe.
The words come out as smoke. We don't have to do the word count game for this one.
Sure.
Unless you really want to. I'm always happy to do the word count game.
Yeah, why not?
Let's hear it.
Hey, Captain. We got here safely. Almira's fine. Our boat broke. Need more time to get her back safely. Love, iron, and mana. And Almira.
You would get back a fairly stern but short response. Get her back as soon as you can. And you owe me a dinghy.
Go back inside. We owe him a dinghy.
The ghosts owe him a dinghy.
Well, we had him go through here
That dinghy knew
because
the
we
risks.
were looking for trouble. Anyway, are we ready?
So you're going now instead of taking a long rest. Just making sure.
Oh, we're getting ready to get ready.
Okay, so you're going to
Ready
take a
to-
short rest.
Short rest.
Okay. Let's take a short break, and we'll come back to the end of your short rest, and you taking off into Stormbreaker Landing proper. All right, folks, we'll be back shortly. See you all shortly. Welcome back to Adrift in Aldhalor. Our heroes have met with Norlin Lothmos, last keeper of this port.
Scion.
Scion
His house.
of his house and land. And he has agreed to help them in exchange for them attempting to reignite the lighthouse of Stormbreaker Landing to help with the purification of the creeping undeath here. Or at least that's what he believes, and what you all believe. He has brewed you an elixir to give you some protection when you leave the protection of his blessed wart lantern. Everyone has one elixir. One elixir of
How long does
blessed
it
wart.
last?
It lasts for 1 hour.
And what is the effects of it?
The effects of it is that it gives you essentially it gives you pass without a trace, but for this type of undead. So you have an increased stealth ability here, and it gives you resistance to any fear effects within from these entities as well. So by resistance to fear effects, I mean you have advantage on any saves that could cause fear in this space.
Do you guys think I should take off my half plate and put on my chainmail so I can stealth a little easier?
No.
Probably.
The whole purpose is to be sneaky, right?
Whatever makes you feel safer.
Well, I mean, the half plate makes me feel safer, but the half plate is also more likely to get us caught.
Bruce, if we're being honest with ourselves, we're gonna get caught maybe halfway through out of this escapade. Probably earlier. You know what? 10 silver, we make it halfway to the lighthouse without getting caught.
I got 10 copper.
You guys really are poor. Gesundheit.
Thank you.
All right, I'll leave my half plate on.
The elixir does have a secondary effect if used in a different way. So you can, of course, drink it to increase your resistance to fear, as well as keep spirits at bay via stealth in terms of mechanics. But if you were to not drink it, and instead, in a moment of emergency, smash it on the ground, it would cause a burst of blessed wart light, which can kill weaker wraiths and also drive stronger wraiths away. Essentially a whatever that spell is called, turn undead. The cleric turn undead.
Wait, hey, I got an idea actually. How about this? Why don't you take my bag, and I go in it, and therefore I don't need to stealth at all, because you guys will be doing the stealthing, and I can hold on to my elixir.
What about breathing?
I got an air bubble. I could do that.
That's right. You have the air bubble spell.
Gods, would you allow that?
Oh gods,
Let's try it.
good work.
Bruce suffocates and dies.
try
We
it.
don't
We
notice
get to
it
the
for an hour.
lighthouse, and we
You
both
all,
just
you,
work
all,
out.
you all forget that Bruce is in the bag.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm using the bag that I used for artificing, for
Mhm.
my artificer fusion. So I can cancel it whenever and get expelled out. if
That's
I
true.
need to.
That's true if you start to run out of air. An air bubble lasts 24 hours.
Yes, it does.
God.
It's not a concentration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can he get him? Okay. Can he get himself out? Like, can he move in the air bubble?
Yeah, the air bubble is like a helmet. It creates an air bubble helmet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would allow it.
All right.
As long as there's enough space in your bag for you to fit in there, which I don't think you have too many things in there.
Oh no, it's my other one. So my main one has all my stuff in it, and then my artificing one used to
doesn't
have
it?
water.
Doesn't
in
have water in it? Did you
It
dump the
used to
water
have
out?
water. I dipped the water out. Yeah.
When did you dump the water out?
I think I was on the boat. I may have not specified it. I meant to dump the water out,
Okay.
or I could go in the water.
Actually,
Two.
yeah, the air bubble. Yeah, you don't need to dump the water out. The air bubble will solve that problem for you too.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
might be uncomfortable or feel weird, but
I think I'm gonna leave the water there if
Okay.
I have not
Okay.
explicitly dumped it out yet. Then
Woof.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, mechanically, yeah, that works. You can fit in the bag, and the air bubble lasts for 24 hours. So I see no reason why you can't get in the bag and someone carries the bag.
yeah. All right, going in the bag.
After Bruce goes in the bag, Jacques just turns to everyone else and goes, "We can agree this is weird, right?"
Yep.
Yes.
I'll carry it.
Okay.
All right. So Sass is carrying Bruce. Put that in your inventory.
Sass, now that Bruce is in a bag,
What a fucking sentence.
you can cast your thing without a trace.
I can
Invisibility.
I can cast invisibility on everyone.
Why don't you do that?
Well, remember, we have Sal with us.
Yes, I was going to have him stay here, I think.
Are you sure? We might need him to fight for us.
Yeah, but if we are trying to stay somewhat hidden, then I feel like Sal makes that a bit of a complication.
Septimus, do you have any way of beckoning Sal to you from a distance?
Septimus will go over to Sal, and he'll just put his hand on his chest and be like, "You stay here and protect these two in case something happens." And then he'll just murmur a little prayer under his breath. And he's like, "Sal will be with us."
Very well. I still have protection from evil and good. I mean, I suppose I'd save it for if we get into a battle. But for now, let's try our best to sneak by. I'm not very stealthy myself, but maybe I can teleport half the way. I mean,
I have to tell you, as soon as I put the invisibility on, if you attack anything or cast a spell, it drops. So you have to truly not engage. Fearn.
Understood.
Before you do that, stay close. Let me cast my detect evil and good first. That way I can easily spot out any wraith. Or possibly that large monstrosity, we couldn't see it before. Gives us a better shot of dipping past them. We can see them, but they can't see us.
Very good.
Well, I can't say that I am not fearful for you. But with these elixirs, hopefully it'll at least get you to the tower safely. Without summoning the entire Wraith battalion here. When you get to the towers, I've created this for you. And I'll hand to you, Septimus, as the designated cleric here and most serious person besides Fearn. Just a satchel with certain things for any rituals that might need to be done. If you were to look inside, there would be some reagents as well as some of those plates that he had are in there as well, with some instructions.
How to exercise a lighthouse for dummies.
Yeah, that book's in there. Well,
Lollyrock is staying behind with Sal, and he has my real bag of holding.
Okay.
Just as a note, because I
Yes,
can
'cause
go
you
into
can't-
my
yeah.
bag of holding with my other bag of holding.
that is good to know. Smart. It's as if you've studied this. That is a whole chapter on it in Timothy Chalamet's book.
With these teleportation tips and tricks.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So, he outlines the path for you, letting you know what path you would need to take. Essentially, as soon as you leave the shack, if you're looking at the courtyard that Fearn saw that haunted fountain in, you take the left road all the way down, and there will be a set of stairs there that'll bring you up to the ramparts, and then you can go to the end of the walls to get to the lighthouse / astrologer's tower. So you're basically zigzagging deeper into the ruins and then up the walls and then down the walls themselves. So you'll be going into a fairly clustered and tight ruined area where you're not going to have there's a lot of clusters of ruins where you can't see perfectly into them. But then when you ascend the stairs to the walls, it's stone walls. You'll have fairly good vision once you're there. So when you're moving through the city is when you might be the most at odds with your perception, looking around. Once you're on the wall, you know what the threat is there. It's the wraiths, and whatever is within the tower. So you step foot outside.
Quickly, just say, how long do you think it will take us to get through the city, roughly? Because I guess I was always saying I want to cast Detect Good and Evil, and then go invisible, and then immediately leave the light. And so my thought was our vision is obscured, but I'll see moving beings coming through, and I'll try to use that as best I can to try to avoid if they're coming towards us or not.
Yeah, so it's probably gonna take anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes to get up to the tops of the walls, and then from there it'll be relatively short, 5 minutes or so to get to the lighthouse, despite if there's anything around. Yes, Stefan.
Can we see the lighthouse from here?
Yes, you can see the actual structure of it.
About how far away from the lighthouse?
It's just coming.
So if it's just a straight line from here, I would say that it's probably straight line to the ramparts from here would probably be around 1,000 feet.
Okay. How tall are the ramparts?
The ramparts are pretty tall. The ramparts are about 100 feet high.
Okay. So conceivably, we could move towards them and simply dimension door our way up to. So Jacques turns to the group and goes,
conceivably, instead of going through the city, we could simply move closer to the lighthouse, and Saskia and myself can cast our spells, Dimension Door, taking with us one willing creature. Jacquet gestures to Septimus and Fjern, and get right up to the lighthouse, bypassing much of the, bullshit.
I think that works perfectly.
Once we do that, though, if I cast invisibility and then Dimension Door, I can't make anybody invisible on the way back. Unless we
Well,
rest.
two things. One, hopefully on the way back it'll be safer once we've got the lighthouse going. And two, if we get up to the lighthouse, maybe we don't need invisibility.
And maybe as soon as we Dimension Door to the top of the lighthouse, we try to act as quickly as possible to get this ritual started.
Well, I think we'll still have to get up. Well, I guess, okay. So, Sean, the wall is 100 feet tall. How tall is the lighthouse?
The lighthouse is about 500 feet tall.
Okay.
All right, so we'll need to go up to the extent of the lighthouse. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
We can't skip the whole dungeon, but we can skip the outside
yeah.
stuff.
This is when I'm suddenly like, yeah, well, you know what? There are counterspell bats everywhere.
Well, I suppose it might be better to hold this for emergency situations, like if we need to get back really quick.
Or, well, actually,
I'd rather have this when we're surrounded by enemies than when have all these, stealth capabilities available to us.
Right, but remember that thing how when we try to stealth, it never works out?
I suppose it's your spell. It's up to you.
oh, hold on. We're still just discussing this before we.
Yes.
Yes.
What if cast detect good and evil? I almost said Shannon. Saskia uses invisibility on us. We don't take the elixirs. So we're invisible, and I'll be able to see the enemies. We move as close to the lighthouse as we can for us, both of you, to cast Dimension Door. We get to the lighthouse, and then, when we're not invisible anymore, we pop the elixirs, so we have still some ability to shroud ourselves, and that way we can move through the lighthouse, hopefully being as undetected as possible.
It's a solid plan.
All right. What do you think, Jacquet?
I mean, I thought that by not going into the city, it would be safer, so we wouldn't even need to rely on invisibility, but I guess better safe than sorry.
But we don't know what's out there.
The whole point is to be unnoticed. Invisibility is going to give us an edge.
Right, but I just want to clarify that Norland made it seem like they don't visibly see us. It's more of a sense.
Yes.
So I don't know how much invisibility will actually protect us. I think the corporeal creatures, those
Hoarders.
the hoarders and the gorders and the snorters, yeah, they might need to see us, but as for any gestures again, just to the ceiling, the haunt that surrounds us, it's less helpful.
I don't know. Ghosts have eyeballs, right?
It also could potentially help with sound and helping diminish our presence, but point taken.
Then how about then let's just wait till we get to the lighthouse then.
My thinking.
Okay.
Wait, so I don't know. I feel like our job is to clear out the White House. Like, the White House.
The White House.
Yeah, we're killing the president.
Uh-oh.
Again, if we manage to light the lighthouse with the blessed wart, that should dispel the haunt and make things a lot easier for us. So I think that should be the priority. And then after we've done that, maybe then we clear out the lighthouse and get all the good loot.
All right. Whatever. I'm okay with either plan. Shall we proceed? And Fionn just like starts walking towards the edge of the thing, and he's got the thing in his hand, the elixir.
Jacquet follows. Stealthily.
I do as well, holding Bruce in the bag.
Bruce, what are you doing inside the bag?
Swim.
Well, so if I wasn't in water, I would have been reading a book because I would have just been floating in the astral plane or wherever sea.
Pocket
whatever.
dimension.
Pocket dimension. Imagine just, and then, but since he's literally just in a vat of water, he's probably just,
chilling out.
Just floating, just chilling out. Like
Deprivation tank.
It is like a deprivation tank where right outside of the deprivation tank is an army of undead and your friends wandering through it, carrying you inside this deprivation tank.
Sean, so I don't know how much light is like peering through the whole of the bag.
None.
Okay, all right. I was hoping it was like a situation where like you're underwater and like you're looking up at
There's
this
just like a
sun,
pinpoint.
and there's like it's you can't really see it very well. It's very distorted, but you can still like make out what's like kind of happening above you.
Oh no. If anything, there might be occasional pinpoints of light when Sass is walking, but you are basically in a little bag, hanging around Sass's neck right now, which just like the only thing you can hear from outside is I'll say you can hear kind of like the muffled sounds of outside, which also means that there's just this like really like consistent, you'll like know how bad things are going outside based on like the sounds of your friends, but also like the racing of Sass's heart that you can kind of hear the beat of slightly in there.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
It's very creepy in here. It's kind of the opposite of a deprivation tank. It's kind of a sensory fuck, where you're just hearing the muffled argument, or really like the quiet discussion of what to do. And you can pinpoint people's voices. You can't really hear the words, but that was Jacquet. That was Jacquet. Oh, he just made a sassy comment that everyone's upset about. Oh, that's Fionn. That's Fionn. But yeah, it's a little. I'd say. In other circumstances, this might be very relaxing, but in this one, it's probably pretty stressful.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
I drink the potion and I go ahead.
Is everyone... I guess, what's the marching order, and is everyone drinking their potion?
Not me.
I'll go last, and yes, I will drink my potion.
Jacquet will, as usual, flank to the side of the party, a little behind whoever's in first, and is not drinking his potion.
Okay.
Septimus. We're picking marching order, and whether or not you drink your potion.
Is everybody else drinking potion?
Two of
I
us are.
did.
Then no.
Jacquet didn't.
Okay. Jacquet, where did you say you were going to be in the marching order? Flanking to the sides?
I'm going to be like to the side. We'll say the right side.
Okay.
And like offset back from the lead.
Okay. And then Septimus, where are you in the marching order? We have Sass in the back. Right now, Fionn is up front with Jacquet, as he said, slightly behind but to the side.
In between them.
Okay. Right in the middle. And are you all stealthing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead and give me stealth checks. Those of you who drink your potions can add your plus 10.
Would
just
I get
particularly against the
advantage
rates.
We're not
from...
invisible.
I'm not talking about invisibility.
Okay.
Would I get advantage from my trench coat of elvenkind?
Remind me of the circumstances. of that?
Sight.
Sight.
It's
Uh,
things are looking for you. You get advantage on stealth.
That cloak of Elvenkind, the one that
Yes.
I'm supposed to have attuned for you.
Did you unattune it?
I unattuned it for the
Oh,
bag.
okay. Never
Sorry.
mind. No, it's fine.
okay.
I'm ready.
Jacques, if you had another attunement item you wanted to attune to, that would have been
Oh.
fine. Just because this probably happened earlier.
Yeah.
So give me your stealth checks, both with and without the modifier from the potion.
Okay, I got a 9. That's with disadvantage, but I drank the potion, so it's a 19.
It's a 19. Okay. Sass?
13, 20.
Do we get any other bonus to that too? From me just seeing where they're moving?
Oh, I didn't know you cast that spell yet.
He would have
I was
cast it
gonna
the
cast it.
second you left the light.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Like I guess describe to me what you are doing with that. Like you're walking along.
I'm doing
looking
it as
for
a walking
undead.
along, looking for undead. If they appear that just by movement are
Mhm.
approaching us or heading towards our general direction,
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
signal the group to either be like stop or like no, we have to go this way to avoid the path. that they're
Yeah,
taking.
yeah. So what I'll say is with that is it's not necessarily that they get like a bonus to this stealth check. It's more so you know what? You know what I'll say for that is I will because you're using that, what's the radius of that detect?
It's 30. It's 30 feet.
Okay, so that's
Not
the
the
rub.
longest thing, so it makes it a little
It's the rub
harder,
is you're
so-
kind of by the time you see them, you're kind of
Yeah.
already caught. But I will say, I'll say that does give you a little bit of an advantage. Less so for trying to think of the best mechanical way to do this. Probably just to give advantage. So Sass, you rolled regular. So I'll say you can roll again and take the higher. Fearn, you already rolled with disadvantage. So I'll say you can take the higher of the two disadvantages. As if you had
I'll do
advantage.
that. I would also re-roll if you'd want me to, but I'll take the 14.
Okay. 14.
19, 29 with the potion.
Okay. And then Jacques, what was your stealth?
24. Do I get advantage?
Yeah, I'll give you advantage with Septimus buff.
Cool. 24.
Hell yeah. And then Septimus, what'd you get?
Advantage as well, or is it just I'm concentrating on doing this, so not really?
No, I give you advantage too.
All right, come on. See if I get any better. Oh, first one was better. 15.
Okay.
It's not the worst. Could have been way worse.
Yeah,
It could,
15 is
bro.
not bad. I got 24 on the ghosts, by the way, Sean.
Yeah, I got that.
'Cause- Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay. Okay. So, as you're walking through these streets, so just you step out from the lantern's light, and you immediately feel that otherworldly cold that I described last session, where even though you are resistant to cold and you have all these things, you're not suffering a cold mechanic, but you feel this in that way that being cold is really just the sense of your warmth being leached off of you. You feel the warmth being leached off of you. Bruce, you don't feel any of this. You're chilling in your amniotic sac or whatever. You step into the street. Cobblestones beneath you. You step on. You might be being careful with where you step. Septimus, you're actually finding it really hard to concentrate on your spell. Because you need to pinpoint movement, really.
Yeah.
Because everything's fucking evil here, man.
Wow.
The moss is giving off this necrotic undead energy. The waters, any puddle you see is giving this off. There's a miasma thick in the air that you need to see through. It's as if you're looking for something with black and white vision where everything is the same color. But you are every now and then able to see something moving, almost like a curtain blowing in the wind. Quietly redirect the group to go maybe slightly to the left, closer to those ruins. And then you find as you get closer to those ruins, something pings over there, moving like a curtain. And each step you take, if you step on the moss, you notice that the moss bleeds. It's not a massive accumulation with a single step, but you're noticing when you pick your foot up this sticky red ooze. And you dart your eyes to the left and to the right, to the left and to the right, where Septimus, you can see sort of the imprints of these more invisible specters, but the rest of you start to see things as well. You know, you're walking along and something dislodges in a ruin and a large old piece of furniture falls from the second floor to the first floor, having really only been held there by the slightest of grip, with even just the minor movements in the streets. You see about 4 or 5 of those bat-like hand creatures just fly into the air up towards the tower. It's about 50 to 60 feet in that Septimus, you notice ahead. You tell everyone to stop, because at the edges of your sight there are an accumulation of undead. Now you notice that these are not wraiths. They are pinged, and even as they ping in your sight, everyone else notices them as well. Almost like the second floor of another building had collapsed earlier, and on the base floor is just an accumulation of corpses. Some half rotted to half bones, some that look like they could have died a week ago, even though no one's been alive here for a while. And they're sort of mingled in this thick ooze. And this thick ooze is almost leaked out of it like a pool. And the road right now is covered in this thick red ooze. It's an impasse on the clear thoroughfare through here that immediately rings with this undead energy that Septimus can detect. You all recall Norlin telling you to avoid the putrid pools. They create a pool across this street that's about 30 feet across and goes from one end to the other end of the street.
Do you point this out to us, Septimus?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm thinking on the fly here. No pun intended about what I'm about to say next. I can levitate, but I need to. They only levitate up and down. I need something to pull against if I'm going to move across.
For you, but what about the rest of us?
Oh, well, let me finish. If we were to, if you fired something across and it got lodged into something, I could pull myself across. That sounds stupid even coming out. Never mind.
I can Misty Step to the other side.
Oh shit!
Maybe
I
throw
can do
you a
that too.
rope.
We could go around.
Going around would bring you into the ruins. It does. I mean, the area where it seems like this pile of corpses collapsed from seems to be kind of covered in this ichor. But the other side, it's just leaked out across the street, so it isn't inside the ruined structures on the other side. But you'd have to go inside the skeleton of these buildings.
Sean, if I were to take out some of that grave dust that I have,
Mhm.
and I take out just like a pinch, and I sprinkle it onto the pool, does anything happen?
Weirdly, you notice like as the dust sprinkles down, the water of the pool, it's very creepy, but essentially it sort of looks like little arms and hands come out,
Oh, God.
reaching
Okay.
towards it, and then go back into it.
Okay.
But it doesn't have any kind of reaction other than the pool seemingly reaching for it.
Okay.
How far out is the pool?
The pool is it's 30 feet out because it was at the edge of your detection.
All right.
How
Magic.
far across is it?
30 feet.
Which not much of a choice. Oh no, I was just trying to get the logistics. Jaquette's right. I think we can't go through it. He said not to touch it.
Go through the ruined buildings for, 30 feet, come out the other side, and be back on our way. What's the worst that happens? Oh, that's right, Saskia kills some random guy. Jacquet just glares at her.
Right now.
Septimus just stares daggers at him.
Hey,
Yeah,
I just
she's
wanted to
not.
make sure we
Oh.
didn't forget about it.
But the fuck on once.
Okay, sheesh.
Keep a cool head. We're in a dangerous place. Let's make it through the building.
Jacquet silently gestures as if saying, you first.
Fearn goes first.
Septimus, what's the radius again? 30 feet on detect good and evil. And then how long does it last?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. All right. So it hasn't been 10 minutes yet. You're not that deep in yet. So Fearn, you step up to these ruins, and they're basically hollowed out houses. You can basically the building that you're looking at. From what you can tell, you're going to need to go in through what was the front door, and find your way to the back and get out in the next alleyway, essentially, which would be past the ichor. Yes.
How tall are these houses?
So it varies. This one is 3 stories.
Oh, never mind.
Is there any like obvious path that would require me not to, bash open any doors or, finagle any locks? Like, is there a broken window or something? Like, can I see a path through the debris and detritus that is just like walking?
Yeah. So are you peeking in through the front door?
I suppose if it's open.
There's no door. The door's gone.
Oh, great. Yeah, then that's exactly what I do.
All right, give me a
Septimus
perception
will lay
check.
a hand on his shoulder before he gets too far. He can lead, but I don't want him to get off too ahead.
Yeah, I'm still stealthing this whole time.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
as
meant if you're
walk-
leading, you're not seeing where you're going, potentially. Not seeing potential threats is what I mean. Not
Right.
that you're blind.
Okay, gotcha.
And as I walk up to them as well, I'm gonna just kind of hit my shoulder against Jacquet.
Yeah, check them.
Jacquet would like to, at this now, the facade of this building, would it be possible with a climb speed to just climb around?
Yeah, Yeah, with the way the structure is, I mean, you might be a little worried about its stability, but if you're careful and you go slow, you can test that and make and try to prevent like, making a lot of noise or falling straight into the ooze.
Yeah. Drago goes, see you on the other side, and he's gonna climb across the facade by himself.
Okay. Can you give me an acrobatics check?
Yes, sir.
The damn shame Bruce is in a
With,
bag. He could have told you the structural integrity of the building.
That's true.
I know, right?
With acrobatics check.
Or Bruce could
19.
have popped his head out and just slapped you with a nice spider climb.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're able to slowly but surely get across to the other side. You're crawling across. You might even like peek into the window and see inside for a second. There's moments when you do feel a little uncomfortable. Like there's a moment where you're holding on to the wall and you can feel the wood completely like disintegrate in your hand. Like if you've ever touched rotting wood.
All the time, baby.
That's true. You would be the expert. Or even like wood that's been eaten away by termites as it just sort of collapses for a moment, but you're deft enough, quick enough to hold on to another spot with your claws. And there's a few maybe pebbles or something that fall down or pieces of wood, and you can just see them. It doesn't make a big noise as you step down to the other side, where you can notice the alleyway that I was referring to. And it looks as though a lot of stonework and wood has collapsed here, where the first floor doesn't really have an exit, but the second floor does, where they can jump down or climb down from the second floor from inside. Fionn, peeking inside, give me a perception check.
Sure. 10.
10. Okay, so you can see this room is it has a bunch of old moth-eaten furniture. There is some of that moss growing in here. You can see there's a hearth that has a very, 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 very dim light coming from it of that same spectral color. As if where there was a fire there's now sort of that spectral color. You can see the wall on the far side is collapsed in with the second floor collapsed onto it, leaving what was probably an exit, a side exit, completely covered. And you can see above you the roof, or the floor, and the roof of this floor, the floor of the second floor, is intact for about half of it before it had collapsed in over there. And you can see a set of stairs that would lead up to the second floor next to the hearth. You would also notice there's just sort of like streaks of blood everywhere. There's no bodies, but there are streaks of blood everywhere.
Oh.
Fionn is going to so the hearth is on, let's say, like the right side, and the like collapsed part of the building is the left. Is the collapsed part of the building something that looks, like, I know it would probably make a lot of noise, but would it be like traversable to like go up and over?
It would be difficult to climb. You would need to make a check to climb up it with the risk of making noise.
Fionn, I have an idea. And Septimus, I have an idea.
Real quick, Septimus, you're standing like right behind Fionn, keeping your detect evil and good up. There's the typical environmental evil that I mentioned before, but Septimus, there is also oddly enough, a chair in the room that is beaming with this evil color. A little bit brighter than the...
Sit on me.
It is not whispering in a ghostly voice for you to sit on it.
Wait, so that the chair is glowing?
Yeah, there's a chair that glows with an intense aura of necrotic energy.
You want to break?
Like the chair itself, not like something that's
No, I mean
sitting
the
on
chair itself is sitting in the middle of the room, aglow with necrotic energy, next to an overturned table with some rotten fruit that is spoiled, covered in blood.
What's your plan, Saskia?
Still using levitate, but seeing as how Jacquette got across climbing on the outside pretty easily, I can levitate all of you, and you can use the building to pull yourself across.
How many times can you do that?
I can do it whenever.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't. There's something about that chair. Something evil.
Is the chair closer to the stairs, or is the chair closer to the opening?
The stairs.
All right, let's sneak around the chair and try and.
No.
You
She can
don't
levitate us on top of the building.
No,
Well,
you don't have to go inside.
Oh,
I'm just
from
gonna
outside, right?
yes.
Yeah,
Following
I can
Jacquette.
just follow where he went. Yeah, and I'll go last.
All right, sounds good.
So
So we go up against the
We
side
quickly-
of the outside of the building.
yeah,
So
but
Sass,
you're-
you can only levitate one person at a time. You can't
I know.
do a group.
I know.
Yeah.
But
Quickly,
I
which
can
is
cast it at
perfect.
will.
Yeah,
Because
so
I
you'll have
was
to do one at
going
a time.
to
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make
that's,
sure
that's what I was
Septimus
planning.
communicates. Building does not look very stable. Let's make sure we're not putting more than one person's weight on it. So
Yeah,
one at a
you're
time.
I meant sorry, I meant to say one at a time, and just be light when you touch. That's all you need. Is just a. It's like you're floating light.
Mhm.
Who wants to go first?
Everyone should just be in a bag.
Oh well.
Go ahead, fair.
Septimus, you could swear that one of the legs of that chair moved. You look, and the chair is perfectly still. But it looks like it's a little closer.
Oh my god. Stop it.
Fear, go. Now you're levitating.
At this point, I'm just locked in on this chair.
Aaron's going to the top, and he's going to try and find something up there.
You
That
can only go up
is-
20 feet. Oh,
Where does that take me? I think he said it was 3 stories tall.
Yeah.
So that might put me to the top.
No.
No. Okay.
Fear and just fucking move. Pull yourself across.
So can I get to what floor can I get to, or do I have to just climb against the side of it?
I think the
all the way
implication
around?
is that you pull along the
Just-
side.
Pull yourself along the
that's-
side of the.
Yeah.
Just
Just-
to get over.
Yeah.
Got it. So we're going around, not over. Got it.
You're bouldering along the side of the.
Yeah, because it basically the way the
house.
spell is described is you can move as if you were climbing by pulling.
Cool. I do that.
When he is safely across next to Jacquette, I end that spell, and then I see Septimus staring daggers at this chair. Are you ready?
Yes. I'll try to be quick. But keep an eye on that thing. I swear that thing is following us.
A chair.
I know it sounds crazy, but
No, I
Sass, you
said
look
it and
past
then-
him at this chair. It's just a simple chair.
Yeah.
Wicker.
Yeah, no, I believe you, Septimus. This place is fucked. Go ahead. You're floating.
and Septimus just start
So
bruising
Septimus-
across the building.
Yeah. As you start climbing alongside the building, Sass, you look back over at that chair, and it's closer.
It's closer. Fuck. Hurry up, Septimus. And levitate is concentration, so I'm concentrating on it as. Does he get across okay?
Well, something happens
Yeah.
before it gets across.
Oh my god.
You Theron is across,
Mhm.
and so is Jacquette.
Jacquette. Mhm.
Sass and Septimus. Septimus, as you're climbing across, and Sass, as you're concentrating on this spell and maybe peeking over at the chair,
Mhm.
Sass, you do notice the chair begins to almost crack, like the wooden legs start to crack, and from within those cracks you can see the same ghostly light that's in the fireplace, that's in the lighthouse, that's in the miasma. As you can see sort of these swirling spirits coming out of it. They look almost like they're smoke, but with people's faces in them. As it's bleeding out of the chair, though, it vanishes and becomes invisible. As you suddenly feel extreme pain in your head, as you start to hear all of the wails, all of the despair of the creatures within those spirits enter into your mind all at once. A cacophony of noise. You can't hear individual. Maybe you catch a word here or there, but they are just screaming in a wave of despair. Septimus, you feel this as well. And I need the two of you to give me wisdom saving throws.
24.
28.
Nice.
Okay, you both do pass.
We picked the two right people to go after.
Right.
I would not have rolled this good.
You will take half damage.
All right. So you need a con save for me too for concentration.
Yes.
Okay. Dirty 20 for concentration.
Oh man. Thank you, Boos.
Oh, wow. Okay. Close to breaking your concentration, but not. It's 37 points of psychic damage. Halved.
Oh, okay.
18.
18. So you take 18 points of psychic damage. Both of you, as these waves and waves of voices go into your head. And I'm going to ask you guys to roll initiative.
Oh, no.
Oh my
Just
god.
them or
Who am I
all of
today?
us?
No, everyone can roll.
Who are you
but-
today?
This is
Seriously.
amazing.
What are these
Lord.
rolls, Michael?
I'm gonna roll even though I'm in a bag.
No, you don't know what's going on out there.
I don't. No, you're right.
You're just floating in your pool.
So
You
happy that grandma's doing okay.
Yeah, you hear. I imagine you hear like Sass does imagine writhe in pain.
I scream
Mhm,
too.
yeah.
And just like
But that spirit comes out of the chair fully now. And from the size of it, you imagine this is what was described as a haunt, as it sort of pours out and basically fills up that room to the point where Septimus, you're like holding onto like a window and looking inside, and you can see it start to swirl there. And the faces do seem like they're particularly looking at you, Septimus, versus looking at Sass. Perhaps because of lack of potion, but also they did detect you first. So 20 to 25.
20
Okay.
twins.
twinsies.
Who would like to go first of the two of you? Or I guess what's your dexterity modifier?
2.
0.
Okay. You can, as I've allowed in the past, interchange your initiative since you're on the same count.
Mhm.
So
I'll let him go first this time because he's in the thick of it.
That's fair. 15 to 19.
Shit, 17.
I mean, 16 if you want mine.
You don't.
You're not coming out of the bag.
I
Bruce.
do
here.
actually want yours just in case like Sass opens the bag and goes, get out of here, Bruce. So we'll still
Or
have
if
it
I
in
drop
there.
it.
Yeah. Or Bruce, if you just start to hear insane commotion out there and decide you want to come out. Jacques, what'd you get?
14.
14. Okay. All right. So Septimus, you are up first with Fearn on deck, then the Haunt, then Sass, Bruce, Jacquette. So basically, you're halfway across this this pool of blood, Septimus. You are levitating. You are holding onto the side of the building. You're 20 feet up, 15 feet across the pool of blood. It's another 15 feet to the other side. Sass, you're right at the door of this structure. I'm just making myself a little diagram.
Diagram.
The building itself is roughly 30 feet long as well, with a 20-foot width inside. So if you're at the end, the spirit seems to be right in the center of the building. It is huge in size. Jacquette and Fearn, you are both on the other side of this. The only way inside is to climb inside, from your side at least. And yeah, Septimus, you're up first. You can see in through the ruins in this window. You do have line of sight on the vast swirling vortex of spirits.
Is it coming? Does it look like it's going to come after me or Sass?
Its attention looks like it's on you.
How far away am I from Sass, and how far am I away from
You
getting
are,
to the end, to the
Sass,
other side where...
You are about 15 feet away from Sass, and 15 feet from the other side. So you're right in the middle.
Is my movement speed still 30, even though I'm levitate grappling?
No, because you move as if you're climbing, and you don't have a climbing speed, so your movement speed is halved.
Okay.
So.
You could climb towards us, and then Fearn can grab you and pull you down.
It's true.
I assume there's less resistance if you're under levitate.
Is it how far are they? 15 feet away?
15 feet away. You are 20 feet up in the air.
Right.
I could only jump 8 feet high. I'm sorry. I can't jump higher than that.
I could also, I don't have to levitate him up to 20 feet.
You can also, on your turn, adjust his height, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you can bring him down on your turn.
Yes, I can.
So, yeah, so you can climb across, and you'd be at the very end with your movement speed. And you can...
I'm going to use my full movement speed to climb across to not be over the death hand fluid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you can either wait in that climbing position, or I'll say, because it's right there, you could kind of climb and stand on that wall of debris. That is the collapsed part. It's really only like a very tiny space though, so it's not particularly safe. You would have kind of difficult terrain moving around on it, or you can climb and wait at the end, and then in your next turn get down safely on the ground.
I am going to get to the end, and both of my hands and my third arm from my back just clasp on whatever I have to grab on. And as an action, because I don't want to shout and stir up a bunch of commotion, I will thaumaturgy, shouting a whisper pointed right on Sass's cheek, and say, drop spell.
On your turn, you can drop.
It's like drop spell, levitate yourself.
Okay. So that's Septimus's turn. Fearn, you are up.
Okay, you said I can't get into the building, but
You could climb in. It just
could
would
I
be
possibly see into the building?
There would be a very narrow range of view through one of the broken windows. But there is that collapsed wall that is blocking you from seeing inside. So if you were to look through that narrow window, if you were to say do a ranged attack or something, the creature would have cover.
Okay. I'm not going to do a ranged attack. This
Mhm.
might be redundant and not helpful, but I'm going to do it anyway because I get a free casting of darkness, I believe. So I'm planning on peering in at this supposed chair monster, even though it's just a ghost, and cast darkness 2nd level at the chair to try and, distract it or, blind it from what we're doing.
I would say, I know this is difficult without having a battle map for it, but like the angle of your vision where the chair landed ultimately, you wouldn't really see the chair. Also, the way the spirit is warping inside, the chair, you can easily surmise the chair is emptied of the spirit.
It was hiding in the chair.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Do I see the spirit?
You can see the light of the spirit through the window, yeah.
I'm just going to cast darkness on something that's in the general direction of the spirit, trying to encase it in darkness.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say you can cast it on the half of the room that you can see.
Yeah. Well, I guess it would also depend on, whether I would cover the area that Saskia is going to be moving in, because I don't want her to be blinded as well.
I mean, you can keep it inside the building, but she can see through darkness.
Okay, great. So, yeah, I'll keep it inside the building and just in case. That's my turn. Actually, I'll take the movement to get a little further away from the building.
Okay.
Towards our location,
So you're heading 30 feet down the road more.
I think that would... Maybe I'll just do 10 feet away.
Okay.
Like, down the road.
Okay. Alrighty. It is the Haunt's turn. On its turn, anyone who is looking into the building or is near enough to see it would see that it turns invisible. Let me roll to see if it gets its wave of despair back.
Is my detect?
You can still see it, Septimus.
Dope.
You're the only one who can see it. Unless someone else has a reason they can see invisibility. It does not get its despair back.
I have chair sight.
You have chair sight. No. All right, so it is going to move. You don't really see it, but you can sort of feel its presence. As the perceptive of you might notice, sort of like almost like a dusty wind blowing over certain things, indicating its movement. As suddenly, Sass, you feel very cold. As if this thing is right in front of you. It is going to go for attack on you. 2 attacks.
I guess darkness wasn't helpful.
That the first attack is will hit with the 24.
Yeah.
$20 points of force damage.
Ooh.
Second attack is a 18 to hit.
Yep.
Okay.
Concentration's half of the damage I take, right?
Correct, yeah. So that
Okay.
first one
All
was a
right,
10
first one.
DC.
Okay, I rolled an 18.
Okay. Second attack is 22 force damage.
Okay.
So that's another 11 DC for
It drops.
Remember,
you
you have
were-
advantage.
I do.
On your con saves because of your Warcaster feature.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
That is true.
Thank you. All right. Okay, then it doesn't drop. It's still up.
So basically, you
Nice.
felt
Thanks, Seth.
you felt these like spectral arms, almost like they didn't like punch you, but they just like swept and just like went through you.
Yeah.
And almost you just feeling you're almost like the necrotic energy is touching your soul, and you feel that cold. It to anyone looking, it would just look like the dust in the air and any miasma in the air just moving as the hand slowly moved through you, and just like one came down and another came down as these spectral arms were reaching for you. It's still invisible. It does not break its invisibility.
Lovely. Okay.
But that is the Haunt's turn. Sass, you are up.
Okay. Is it an action to end the spell? To end levitate? Or do I just end it as part of my turn?
I think it's a free action.
Usually it says something in the spell description.
It's a concentration spell, so you just stop concentrating.
Right.
Yeah. I can use my action to move the target, but Septimus doesn't need me to move him because he's across,
yeah,
right?
the rules for concentration say you can end concentration at any time, no action required.
All right, great. So, hearing Septimus say, drop the spell, and I see that he's across, I will drop it. And then I will use my action to immediately cast it on myself, levitate on myself, and grab onto the building and start pulling myself away. I'm going to try and stay like, say, like 10 feet above the pool. So I'll just go 10 feet. I'm not going the full 20. And just
Okay, and what's your movement speed?
30, so 15.
So
I can only
15.
get 15.
So you get
this
halfway
round.
across. And the thing that's
Yeah.
crazy here, Sass, is you're climbing through the Haunt. Like you're inside it.
Yeah.
As you're going through.
Fuck.
Septimus, you said that you had grabbed onto the wall to hold yourself from falling, right?
Yes.
All right, so I'm just going to ask for an athletics check from you.
It does say when levitate ends that they gently fall to the floor.
Yep. As
Then
if
you
still
can,
locked.
I mean,
shit.
if you want to, yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to hold on to, you can. That would be athletics. But if you want to just gently fall and land at the edge of the pool, that's totally fine.
Yeah, the latter.
Okay, I was just making sure. I didn't know if there was something you were going to do while you were holding on.
I mean, yeah. If
so
I
yeah,
had more
so-
confidence in my ability to climb.
Yeah, you gently float to the bottom, as you can see Sass climbing, and it looks like she's climbing through.
Oh, I'm making a
Well, you
face.
can actually no, you can
100%.
see the spirit, so you see her
Yeah, she's just going
inside
right
the
through it,
spirit. Yeah.
Just making a face, just gritting my teeth and pulling myself along. That's all I can do.
Bruce, you can hear Sass's heartbeat getting really high.
Yeah. I'm not gonna cast anything, but I'm gonna be pondering about some stuff. All right, sure.
Okay.
Mull
All
and
right,
ponder.
and I'm gonna hold that ponder thought.
Hold
As
a
an
ponder.
action.
Hold a ponder
As an
action.
action.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody
Jacquet,
call
you're
Wizards
up.
of the Coast. We've broke the system.
Yes.
This is new meta.
Jacquet, you're up.
So I can't see this creature, right?
No, it is invisible. I mean, there's some. I would say I've given hints at its location.
Right.
So
But I
there-
could ostensibly attack it at disadvantage.
that's what I was about to say. Yes.
You can see me making a face.
Right.
Yeah, like there's enough clues about its presence that attacks can be made with disadvantage.
All right. So Jacquet is going to steady aim,
Okay.
and then he is going to throw his dagger of lightning return
Mm.
at the
Nice.
creature. So this will just be a net nothing. For a 17 to hit.
17 will hit.
Since it is engaged with Saskia, and I no longer have disadvantage, that trigger A sneak attack?
The engagement does, yes.
Okay, just want to clarify. So that is 17 magical piercing and an additional 1d8 lightning. And its movement speed is reduced by 10 feet.
Nice.
Its movement is not gained it does not regain this movement until it is healed.
Excellent.
And so Jacques throws this out. It like whizzes past Saskia's head, I bet, and just like bursts in this
Like a
electric,
bolt of
and then
lightning.
it reappears in Jacquet's hand, and he goes,
Hell yeah.
How shocking. This is a fight I don't think we can win, friends. We should run.
but he can't move, so that ends his turn.
How much was the lightning damage again?
1.
1, okay. Well, since 1 cannot be halved in
No.
D&D, the resistance, at least it deals full damage.
Hey, look at on the bright side.
But it does seem resistant to the lightning damage.
Right.
But it is this interesting feeling, Sass, as you can almost feel your hairs stand up as this lightning sort of goes through the whole shade of its form. It's actually a frightening moment for anyone looking at it to see its full size now, because only really Sass and Septimus saw it when it wasn't invisible, and the lightning travels through it, and you can just see it's essentially this massive storm cloud of spirits. And you can
This
see
is really a fight I don't think we can win.
like you can see like the lightning. It's almost like when lightning is inside a cloud, and you can see like that silhouette. You can see silhouettes of these faces just roiling in it.
Go! I'll catch up!
Okay. Septimus, you're up. This thing is about, I would say, 15 feet away from you. Sass is also 15 feet away from you. You're the only one who can fully see it. Actually, Septimus, did you is detect evil and good a concentration spell?
It is a concentration spell.
Did you roll a Constitution save when
I
you took
did.
damage?
No, wait, did I? No.
So
Check
give
the
me
log.
Yeah, he would be in the log, but
There she is. Yeah, I don't think I did.
No, he didn't.
So go ahead and give
So-
me a
Yeah, I
concentration
just
check
did
real quick.
Yeah, I don't see this thing.
Well, what would you roll? It's only a 10 DC.
What's a 4?
So yeah, so I'll say
Not
like in
one.
this moment, as the lightning goes through it, is like it's just, and then it's gone completely from your sight.
Cool. I mean, not cool, but cool visual.
All right, so Septimus, what would you like to do?
Well, actually, that did change it up a bit. Since I was concentrating, I wasn't gonna cast this, but now that I'm not concentrating, I
you're
will
on deck.
cast. I'm gonna cast Bless at level 2, and bless all of us.
Nice.
Maybe
Not
that will help
Bruce.
you pass a saving throw.
Yeah, there you go. All right, anything else, Septimus?
Am
you
I
wanna
just
move at
standing
all?
right? Am I next to Fiernan?
Fieran moved 10 feet away, so he's about 10 feet away from you, but you are right with Jacquet. Because he couldn't
I'll
move because he
move.
used steady aim.
I'll move 10 feet away too.
Okay, so you'll join with Fieran. Jacquet's still at the edge of the pool. Sass is still over the pool.
Fierna is like waving you on and just says, "Keep moving."
Then I'll keep on moving my movement speed then.
Okay.
If it seems like people are saying run.
Yeah, and Septimus, you're looking out, like as soon as you get past Fieran, like you look out at the remainder of the streets, and you might start to feel a sense of anxiety given that you no longer have the spell up to be able to see anything that's invisible
Yeah.
or hard to detect here. All right, so do you move further beyond Fieran?
You saying that? No.
I mean, I'm just
No.
saying that to
No, in the right
alert
way.
you
No,
to
no,
what
no.
you so you know what you're running into. You're not running into, because I think often in fights we just say we're running away, and this is a place where running away is challenging in these tight labyrinth these ruins.
We both rolled 20s. I'm running next. I'm gonna be ahead of you anyway. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
As a bonus action, can I drink the elixir?
Yes, you can.
Ooh.
Then I will do that because I found my quell the anxiety, and then I will go the full movement speed.
Okay, excellent. All right, so then you are now 30 feet away from the pool. Fearn, it's your turn now.
So how far away is Saz? Yeah.
Sass is 15 feet, 25 feet from you, because you're 10 feet away from the pool.
Right, so she's 15 feet from running away location.
Yes, exactly.
I wish I had something to do to help her. Can I throw a... So if I I can't throw a boulder because I can't see it, and it's not like a disadvantage thing, right?
Well, it's a line effect, the boulder. So
Right.
you could throw it at it.
Okay. Then I'll do that, I guess. I'm gonna chuck a boulder.
Chuck
And
a boulder at this ghost.
Yeah,
boulder!
I try and like
I'll shrink against.
don't hit.
Yeah, just like all these projectiles going near Sass's head.
Fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say I try and get it as close to Sass without hitting Sass as possible because I don't know where the ghost is, but I assume that it's going after her.
Yeah, let me just double check. Yeah, because it's straight line up to 90 feet in a direction you choose before falling to the ground. So yeah, you can avoid Sass. You can avoid Sass and throw it at the ghost. So it's a
And
dex
if
save.
it matters, yeah, I'm going maximum range, so that way it'll go like 90 feet away and
Mhm.
like perhaps piss somebody else off further away from us
Okay.
when it lands on the ground.
It only got a 10 or an 11, so it fails. So go ahead and roll damage.
Cool. What do I got? They take 1d8 bludge and 1d8 thunder. That's gonna be 7 bludgeoning damage, 2 thunder damage, for a total of 9.
You said
Why
2
did it have to?
thunder?
Yes. Why did it have to be an odd number?
Okay. The thunder damage is halved, but the bludgeoning, since it is part of a
So
a
I have
spell
a
effect.
thing that it doesn't include the extra 2d6 thunder damage for any target that it hits, right? That's for just regular melee attacks?
That's for regular melee, yes.
Okay, just trying. All right, so if that's the case, I'm going to use the rest of my... Well, that was an action. I'm going to use a bonus action. Yes, I'm reading it now. As an action, I could hurl the enchanted stone from the mall.
Yes, I'm saying that it actually should deal more damage, I believe.
Oh, maybe I read this wrong.
You read this
I
wrong, yes,
did.
because it's the effects. The action has the effect of a second level catapult spell, so it's 4d. It's actually 4d8 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, let's do that then.
Mhm.
I'll just reroll.
Yeah, because in
Okay.
your spells, you'll see you have a second level catapult in there, so that's what the effects are.
I rolled all 6s and 7s. I got 26 damage.
Hell yeah.
And then I use the recall, which recalls it and deals that other damage that I dealt before.
Yeah, sorry to.
It wouldn't hit it because it's flying.
No.
in the air. I
No.
gotcha.
You can't use Thunderous Recall in the same turn you
On the
use Soaring
same
Thunder.
turn.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
No,
The
you're good.
rules don't understand.
You're good.
I just did the action to do that damage, 26 bludgeoning,
Mhm.
half to 13, I guess, and I take the rest of my movement action, and I get ahead of Septimus.
Okay. All right. So you are 20 feet ahead of Septimus now. Right? Yes. No.
We
10
were
feet
both
ahead.
10 feet away.
Ahead. 10 feet ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. You're 10 feet ahead of him. All right. It is the Haunt's turn now. We'll see if it gets back its Wave of Despair. It does. Saskia?
Yeah.
And Jacquette. Saving throws. It is the wisdom saving throws too, please.
You get to add a d4.
Yes, because you're blessed.
17.
17 passes.
21.
21 passes. You'll take half damage. Okay, that's one.
Stop rolling.
Oh my god.
So 31 points of damage halved to 15.
Oh,
Sass, make a concentration check, DC 10.
yeah.
With advantage.
Okay. 12.
So you do not fall in or float gently into the pool.
Thank goodness.
And that is the Haunt's turn. That's its action. It does seem to start to move a little bit. It actually, you can feel Sass. It like leaves your presence, so that you're no longer within it at the end of its turn. But again, you can't really. Both of you can't really see it. You do get the vague idea that it's affecting. It's still like within your vicinity. Jacquette, you actually start to feel that coldness. It's not enveloping you, but it is basically moved. It's because it had -10 movement speed. It moved basically between you and Sass. That's the Haunt's turn. Sass, you are up.
Okay, I'm gonna use the rest of my movement to get safely to the other side and levitate and gently touch down. And Jacquette, I think you're the closest one there, right?
You're right next to him.
Yep. As I touch down, you'll just see like my shoulders slump, and when I look at you, like my eyes are so gaunt because I am at 4 hit points. So I will just say, I need to fucking run. And I will use my action to dash 30 feet.
Okay, so you join up. You're with Septimus now.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, actually, before I do that, how many? Yeah. I'm up with Septimus.
Yes.
All right. Bonus action. I'm going to take Bruce off and slam it into his chest. Sorry, Bruce, and just be like, just in case I feel like fucking shit. So just in case something happens, take him.
This precious little egg that is Bruce.
Bruce is in the waterbed, like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like
Whoa.
Septimus and Sass are in a biology class together, and this is their egg they have to take care of.
I don't like that. Don't tell Granny Lonnie that.
Oh, they are so cute. Anyway, Bruce, you feel a bit of a tumble.
Oh.
Do you continue to ponder?
Yeah. I'm gonna hold something.
Mm-hmm.
and that's something's gonna be now
Your
double
tail.
ponder.
A double ponder, excellent.
Yeah. No, this will come into play eventually, Sean.
Oh, they stack.
Oh,
Ah,
Yeah.
he's growing
It
in power.
stacks.
What does Ponder actually do?
Nothing.
It's not a real thing.
It lets you scry one, obviously.
God damn it! I knew you were gonna. I knew either you or Alex were gonna say that. Shut up.
Scry one, draw one.
Yeah, that's
Draw
right.
one.
Jacquet, you
Play
were
a
up.
blue deck.
all right. I'm gonna make another ranged attack with the danger of lightning return at disadvantage.
Mhm.
Oof, that's a 12.
That does not hit.
So he throws it up, and it just kind of like and smashes or flashes back with not the same effect. And he goes, well, you can't get them all. And then I'm going to feline agility to double my movement speed and run past everyone.
You will take an attack of opportunity
I'll
unless you want to.
disengage.
Would
Okay.
I have taken an attack of opportunity when I ran away from Jacquet? Because it was right there. Not that I want the attack, because if it hits, I'm going down. But
I suppose.
No,
Fair.
it forgoed its attack of opportunity to hit Jaquette because it only has one reaction.
Yeah, so it's either it's gonna kill Stas or it's gonna hit me.
Yeah.
And clearly, I'm the bigger target.
Show it.
do what the ghost would do, Sean.
Yeah, but Jaquette gets to take his action back if that's the case. Then.
Right.
Yes, I would agree. That Jacquet turn would be up for
Just hope it
rehashing.
misses.
Yeah, it would attack the first thing that it only knows rage.
Fair.
Just hope it misses. You need a box of doom, Sean.
I know, right? It's unfortunate because it has advantage because it's invisible.
Mm.
You could probably
Um,
print one of those out.
You can buy them; they sell them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but Sass, that is 100% going to hit.
Okay.
And you said you
I
have
don't
4
even
health.
think it. Yeah, so I don't
its
even think it
modifier
matters.
will kill you. Yeah.
Okay. Bye bye.
So let's
Is
rehash that.
that
What happens?
before or after?
That is before she gave the satchel to our friend Septimus.
Mhm.
So she's
Yeah.
gonna fall on top of the bag where Bruce is just.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah. Let's hope she doesn't tear it.
Or I
Um,
could fall sideways
Oh,
and
the
it
thing is,
just
if
falls
she
off my
tears
neck.
it.
I know.
If she tears it, it's just gonna explode
She's not
water.
gonna tear it. She's not unless she had like she doesn't have spiky armor. Sorry, Sass. I do want to just roll damage
Sure.
real quick. Just I don't think it can get high enough, but just
No worries.
I imagine
You
that
can get up to
Shit.
70.
the bag tipped just
Oh,
goes
no,
slightly
yeah. How much
over
health do you
and
have,
it's
Sass?
slowly leaking water.
Like total.
yeah.
My max HP is 79.
and you're just like
Oh, yeah, there's
in
no
a
way it can
toilet bowl spinning around.
So, Jacquet, you see Sass crawling across to you. She looks at you when she
Mhm.
gets down, and then I said something to you, and then
I said, it said some fucking run.
says fucking run, starts to run. As she takes that first step, you can see the dusty spectral hand just and almost like it's grabbing at her soul and pulling it away. It just goes through her, and it's this quiet, just like you almost Sass, you like suck in your breath and then just crumble to the ground. Now, Jacquet, what do you do in this circumstance?
In this circumstance, Jacquet will use an action to pick up Saskia,
Mhm.
feline agility, and then carry her with him. So from 60 now back to 30.
Yep.
Up to Septimus and Fear, and I imagine he just like has her like on his back. And this is where his he's not strong, but he's athletic. He's proficient.
Hell yeah.
So like he's actually like taking like he's actually
Like my
able to carry
arms are
her
around
pretty
you?
well. Yeah, I imagine it's like your head is like
Yeah.
splayed over, and like his arms are under your armpits,
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not the most efficient way to carry, but Jacquet doesn't know any better.
Yeah,
As
how
he's
Jacquet
like
carries.
Yeah, running, the dagger still in his hand, and he like gets up to Septimus and Fear and goes, "We just need to go." And then, and he would have used his disengage.
Okay.
No, he wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't have mattered because you can actually dash if you want.
Yeah, he's gonna dash and just leave him behind. So that
Okay.
gets him a full 60 feet away.
Okay.
You could dash with her on your back.
It's just half movement speed. He just gets half the movement from the dash.
Right, but
he
since feline agility,
so he negated it. Yeah. So it's just a regular 60 feet. Okay, so
Damn.
he runs up, says to you all, "We gotta go." Runs ahead of you with Sass on his back. 60 feet away from the pools now. You're all entering into sort of like essentially the next block of the street, where you can see the buildings are still kind of a similar height, similar decrepit decay all around. As you look behind you, and this is the thing that maybe is frightening about it, is you don't see anything. Fearn and Septimus, what do you do? Fearn, you're 40 feet from the pool. Septimus, you're 30 feet from the pool.
Jacquet ran off in the distance.
Yeah, Jacquet is 30 feet ahead of you, Septimus, 20 feet ahead of you, running into the streets.
He'll run his 30 feet up to Jacquet.
Okay.
Can we see where the lighthouse is? Or, like, do we have a heading of, like, where we want to do
The lighthouse is still some distance. You know that this is just the street. You go all the way down this street. It comes to a dead end, and against the wall is the stairs that lead up to the wall. Of course, I know you guys are possibly doing some teleportation at a certain point, so you let me know like how close you want to get. I imagine you want to get to like 500 feet from the lighthouse to teleport up the walls to the front of it. So you're gonna have a little bit of ways. Like I said before, the lighthouse was 1,000 feet stretch from the shack roughly. So you're gonna need to run a few more rounds of running to get to that point. Or you can try hiding. I'll remind you are running through these streets. Jacquet hasn't taken his potion. You two have. Sass has gone down.
I don't know if that'll help Jacquet if he's like wearing me like a cloak.
So
I mean, Fearn's gonna look towards what do you call it? Septimus, and be like, "Can you help her?"
Yeah. Yeah, Septimus run the 30 feet up to Jacquet. Bonus action healing word her.
You don't have to be next to him to healing word.
No, I know, but I'm just like doing it in this motion because I'm going to use my action to dash.
Gotcha.
okay, so you rush
I'll
up,
use it.
healing word on Sass. Don't worry,
She
Sass. The
heals.
effects of the potion last through unconsciousness.
Regain 9 hit
It
points.
doesn't require
Sass.
concentration.
Sass.
Got it.
9 hit points.
9. Thank you. Okay.
And I just looked at Jacquet, and I was like, we need to make it as close to the lighthouse as possible. I just keep moving. Would you allow me to minor action taking the satchel from
I can just fling it at you.
her?
Too. Or I can give it to you.
No, I would allow you to take the satchel from her.
All right, then I'll take the satchel. I have the satchel, and I will use my action to dash and go an additional 30 feet towards the lighthouse
Okay.
in the general direction.
Okay.
Fearn is going to take his regular movement, not dash, and then I want to ready I slap my mask down, and I'm readying an action to use my mask's ability if I can see the enemy or get attacked by the enemy. Like if I have a chance to target it.
So you're holding your action to use the mask's ability.
Correct.
Okay, and using your 30 feet of movement.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so everyone at this point, so Fear in 30 feet, 70, everyone at this point is beyond 60 feet from the pool.
Oh. I want to take that back because I just forgot I need to recall my weapon.
Okay.
So I'm going to use a bonus action recall, and then I'm going to use my regular action to dash, and I'm going to be right next to Septimus.
Okay. The creature...
And I'm gonna do the recall before I dash, so I don't accidentally roll over any of my friends with a boulder.
Yeah. The creature succeeds on the roll. It rolled a natural 18, so it doesn't take any damage as the rock flies through it.
Okay. Did I blow anything else up while I was on my way?
No, not if you
that building.
Not if you kept it a straight line from where you threw it. So no, nothing. I mean, it disturbed something behind the creature. Sure, it knocked up some dust and some blood, but no, it comes sweeping through with that thunderous noise, coming through to your maul,
alerting everything
with a loud
300
bang.
feet.
Don't say that it makes a thunderous noise.
It's thunderous. It's thunderous. Thunder, the damage that is based on its sound. Okay. So after that, it is the Haunt's turn. It seems to pursue a little bit. Its Septimus is 60 feet away from the pool. Saskia is on Jacquette's back.
Would it be
It
90?
was 60 feet away.
Sorry, 90. You're right. It is 90. Yes. So, Jacquette, you are 60 feet away.
Aye, Captain.
You are 60 feet away. Okay. So, the creature is... because of a lightning dagger,
Mm-hmm.
not able to get up to you to get another wave of despair off that it does get back.
Mm-hmm.
Only because of the lightning dagger.
Yep.
Let's go.
So, the creature, as far as you can tell, like, you don't see any sign of it. You don't get attacked. You don't feel any wave of despair. You feel like you're moments away from getting away from it in this moment. Jacquette, as you're standing there dragging Sass, your friends running ahead of you, all of them slightly aglow with just sort of these little lines of gold around them that are very faint, very hard to see unless you're looking at it. But because they're running, you can see the trail of it. Sass, you have a little bit of it on you.
You can put me down if you need to. I'm awake. I'm up.
Oh, thank gods.
Ugh.
But Sass, before your turn comes up,
Sure.
from a building to the right, you see these rotted curtains go blowing out and sort of tatter as this force of wind shoots through, and you can see holding a spear out is a guard wraith
I scream. Just
that is going to go for an attack on not you, but on Jacquette.
Here.
For an agonizing stab. Jacquette, a 24 to hit.
Wonder how they're doing out there. All's well in a bag.
Bag's doing great.
Bag's doing great.
Yeah, that hits. That hits.
Man's contemplating his
My spell
signature
slots.
ability. Oh, that's a lot of maximum rolls.
Oh boy.
That's me straight, Doc.
31 psychic damage.
Jacquet uncannily dodges the attack using his reaction to
So
have the
that-
attack's damage against me.
I'm sorry. Lower that because I rolled too many dice. I got ahead of
I
myself.
haven't done anything yet.
Okay, so I'm going to take 2 of those max ones out because I rolled 66 when it was supposed to be 46. So it's 12 plus 5, 17 plus 4, 21 points of psychic damage, and then you can have it.
Halved.
But I did roll 66 there, and I rolled 4 6s out of the 66, and then a 5 and a 4. But
That's
good.
the best of us.
and I need a wisdom saving throw.
No. Ooh, I can add a d4. Don't think that's gonna do much.
No.
That's a 9.
You're dazed,
Okay.
and your hit point maximum is halved.
Jesus.
Hit
Ouch.
point
What does
max.
daze do?
Dazed.
It's not a condition on D&D Beyond.
No.
No, it's
It
a
takes
Flea Mortals
away-
one. It means that you can only do one of the following things on their turn: move, action, or bonus action. You can't do
Got it.
more than one. It's the Tasha's Mind Whip effect.
Yeah.
You are dazed. You take this agonizing touch effect of having your maximum HP. You feel like truly, Jacquet, you've been Cavalier as your defense mechanism here, but this is like what you maybe saw people experiencing on the boat on the way here, which is that like agonizing feeling of seeing something like you, but shallow and hollow, as you can see the ghost grabs. And Sass, this is horrifying for you to look at
Oh,
too.
sure.
Sorry, nothing is more shallow than Jacquet.
That's true. That's true. Sass, this is terrifying. This creature comes out. You can see this like decrepit face that is smashed in like the other one. This spear goes into Jacquet's chest. It's ethereal, so it doesn't pierce him physically, but spiritually. As you can see, the light drain from him. Some of his fur turns a little gray or grayer as it grabs his neck and just sort of screams into his face. As Jacquet, this experience agonizes you as the ability does, and it just drops you out of its clutches and just floats there with its long spear. The haunt is no longer pursuing you, but a guard wraith has detected one of you. Sass, you're up.
Okay. Can I see this thing?
This thing's not invisible.
It's not invisible. Okay.
No.
I have a feeling necrotic damage isn't going to do much to this.
Kill fire with fire.
You have fire?
We haven't tested necrotic yet.
It definitely will not work. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
it right now. Please don't try. It'll be a
No.
waste of time.
Yeah. All right.
It was
Is it-
tickle ghost.
Is it far enough away that I can Eldritch Blast it?
It's
Yeah,
right
maybe-
on top of you, baby.
Maybe it's weak to water. You ever think of that?
All right, then I'm gonna just in this pure like I screamed when it came out, and then I just am horror struck when it stabbed Jacquet. So I'm going to reach out and Eldritch Blast its face. Hopefully.
It is in melee range with you,
Fuck. Okay.
so it will be with disadvantage.
I don't want to leave Jacquet's side.
Please do. You're so close to death.
I
Yeah,
know.
keep
I
moving.
know. But if I move, then I move out of its melee range, and it'll drop me.
You could disengage and move.
Again, disengage and move.
I
Yeah.
could, but I don't want to. Sass doesn't want to leave Jacquet.
Jacquet turns to her and goes, "We need to leave."
Jacquet would leave her in an instant.
You can dimension door out with him.
Don't waste the spell slots. Literally, I will be going right after you.
trap.
This is fine.
You still got that sword?
Just gotta use an action to summon it.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. I will. I will, despite, like, I'll look at Jacquet. He says we need to move. I said, fuck you. I know. I will grab him and I will dimension door away from it.
Okay. Do you just dimension door up to your friends, or do you
Yes.
dimension door further or somewhere else?
Nah, up to our friends.
Okay.
Up
Alright.
to Septimus, because he's the furthest, right?
Yes.
We'll go
Or
up to
Fearn.
Septimus.
Fearn is the
We're
furthest.
both at the same. Oh
Okay.
yeah, I'm at 10
You were 10 feet
ahead.
ahead, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You can
Yeah,
dimension
we'll
door
just go-
right between them.
Perfect.
The
and then
portal,
I push him. Go!
the watery portal opens up, and with a splash of seawater, you're all clustered together amongst your friends now, away from both this creature and the haunt. The creature that attacked you initially does seem to be disoriented, and because of the teleportation away, it doesn't have a sight on you. So if you look back, you can see it just sort of like looking around and just occasionally just swiping this massive spear around. And like the one in the water, you can see as it doesn't know where its target is, it starts to extend the spear. As you can all surmise that these wraiths can extend their reach to 20 feet with these spears. But it's just attacking nothing before it just starts to slowly float back into the house that it rushed out of. You all stand kind of like in the precipice of this very small archway that is sort of like a pseudo little gatehouse into the next area of the street, which is closer to the lighthouse. You're kind of standing there leaning against the wall, taking deep breaths as you were running, as currently it seems as though you're out of danger. No sign of the haunt chasing you. Seems to have returned to the house or the chair or the pool of blood. The guard wraith has returned to its house, and then, as of right now, you don't see any enemies around you, or at least within eyesight.
How much further is the place that we wanted to get to, the precipice to dimension door to the top?
Yeah, so based on the distances that you went, you are about just about 200 feet into the street. So you have a little bit ways to go before you are 500 feet from the entrance, or roughly, on that angle, 500 feet from the lighthouse. You have basically another track to go through.
But we got out
Are
of
we-
the close range area.
Are we out of initiative?
Yeah.
Yes, you are out. Yes, you are out of initiative. You got out of the area where these ghosts were attacking you. You're currently in. I'm saying this is not a safe spot.
No.
Yeah.
You are
Yes.
just in a spot that doesn't have active enemies tracking
Yep.
you right now.
Mhm.
It's
But it's
basically
still
like
tense.
you're like underneath a stone archway, like an old gatehouse where there's no gate, it's
Right.
rotted away, and you're like in this. But it's like you're in stealth in a video game, and if you go around the corner, the game will start again.
Mm.
First
Yeah.
off, Septimus will heal someone. Sass. He'll do a 3rd level cure wounds on her with the staff of healing. 23
Nice.
health.
Thank you.
How's Jaquette looking? Is he still dazed, or is that kind of?
Let me just check real quick.
Oops.
Is his hit point
Same.
maximum still halved?
His hit point
Probably.
maximum is halved until he finishes a short or long rest. The dazed effect is similar. Like Jacquet, give me another wisdom saving throw.
Has it been a minute?
No, we just came out of initiative. Do you still
All right,
have
that's
plus?
going to be a 30-20.
Okay, good. You come out of this dazed effect. God, that is actually insanely dangerous, that attack. Because I just realized if you keep failing the days save, you keep getting your hit points halved.
Mhm.
Oh,
my.
that's-
It's like
Fun.
something
Essentially,
we
it's a
fought
it's
in the
a it's a
astral sea.
one could say it's a creeping undeath that slowly kills you.
Jaquette, are you all right? You feeling all right?
You know, I've died before, and this feels like getting halfway there.
Thank you for
Uh,
carrying me.
Yes,
You would do the same, if not more, for me.
Reminder: short rest is an hour.
Short rest is an hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Sean.
All right.
Yes.
You
Am I
done
able
pondering.
Am I able to get myself out of the bag normally
Ye-
without canceling my?
Oh yeah. You can pop your head out.
Yeah. All right. So you see a finger, and then two, and then a whole hand, and then a.
Oh,
head.
it's like a birth. A lot. Actually,
Yeah,
just
it's like
as
that.
wet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like
yeah.
splashing out is this elemental water,
Yeah.
which you do see. I will say you see as the elemental water like touches the ground here. It does like sort of have this almost like spectral. It's not a new haunt about to attack you, but you can see it almost like evaporates upon touching the ground and turns into a steam spirit, if you will, that just sort of almost as if even elementals aren't saved from the creeping undeath.
Oh, how you guys doing?
It's looking better.
You guys look like you.
You used your dimension door. We needed that to get on the lighthouse.
I have another one. It's all right. And I have another slot. If we rest, I'll have it back. And I have ways of getting
I
magic.
don't think this is a place we want to be resting.
Right.
I
I could. Sorry, what did you want to say, Bruce?
I've been thinking, doing my little.
Oh, that's what you're
What?
doing in there, huh? Thinking? Oh, fantastic. Beautiful, lovely.
Just let him talk.
Kind of my job. You're supposed to do all the fancy stuff. Anyway, Scepters, can you describe to me what kind of presence these spirits have? Like when you detect them with your divine magic?
They're undead.
There is a
That's
touch of
just it?
fiend in there too, Septimus.
Undead with a touch of fiend, apparently.
Oh, how exotic.
And do they give any sort of like magical aura to them or as well? Or
When casting detect good and evil, yes.
all right. Anyway, is there somebody who didn't drink the potion?
You.
Jacquet.
I know I didn't.
I did not. I was
Alright.
hoping to save it. Should we need it?
Bruce is gonna take out his tool, and it's gonna flip it open, and it's gonna just be like a little marker.
Swear, if you put a plate on me, Bruce, I'm just not in the mood.
I'm just gonna draw on you, all right? And it'll disappear. Don't worry, it's not gonna
Okay.
ruin your clothes.
Okay. And Jacquet, like, slumps to the ground in front of him, just, like, ready.
All right, I don't know if this is gonna work, but it might help you blend in. I'm gonna cast Nitsul's magic aura. Yeah, and I'm gonna try to mask Jacquet to be exactly like one of the spirits.
Let's take a
cool.
look.
Oh, you got level. What do you call it? Level 100 in the Guardians of Fortune.
What?
But
Okay, well, that joke was for Persco anyway. So.
I know. Being an ass.
Wow. Yeah. So he would be essentially you would appear as an undead creature, Jacquet.
Cool.
yeah.
What do you draw on Jacquet?
So
Yeah, right.
It just looks like a bunch of scribbles, just like a bunch of random symbols, glyphs, and it's done with like a like a silver Sharpie kind of like it looks like it's ruining your clothes.
Mm.
If anybody's looking at it, 'cause luckily Jacquette's not looking at it because he's doing it on his back.
Mhm.
But then you see all the symbols kind of glow once, pulsate, and then just kind of disappear.
Invisible
Yeah.
ink.
It's almost as if the symbols kind of meld together into cloth that hugs you and then vanishes. As Jacquette, I mean, unless Bruce describes what it does to you, you don't feel any different.
Right.
But you know, Bruce, that for 24 hours, Jacquette is now an undead creature in the eyes of detection.
Yeah. So
Does he
I mean,
look like?
But does he look
Does he
any
look
different? Or he just looks like
to
Jacquette,
us,
though?
or he just?
it's just an aura.
It's just a
that's-
detection. It's just
Okay.
an aura thing.
Got
So
it.
if
Got
Septimus turned his detect good and evil back on,
Uh-huh.
Jacquette would light up as a undead creature.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe it'll work, and maybe it won't.
Actually,
Either way,
this
I was
is. I think it's going to be very helpful, Bruce. Thank you.
Oh, so should I stay in the bag still and keep thinking, or should I stay out here and call all the spirits to us?
Yeah, the second one. I would just love to die right now.
You want another plate?
Get in the
Let's-
bag.
Come on. Let's
Before you
fucking-
go, I was
let's
going to
go.
ask for your elixir as a last-ditch means of throwing it in if we need to make a quick escape if we get overwhelmed. There's no point
Absolutely.
of having just one left.
There you go. I was just gonna keep it to the very end. Yeah,
This isn't one of those JRPGs.
of the lighthouse.
Right,
Okay.
well,
Is there anything else
well-
you guys need from me before I?
Any other nice spells you can cast?
Do you
I
want
was
spider
going
climb?
to suggest if you do want to short rest, if you cover me for a minute, I can cast that magic circle again. That'll keep them out for an hour, which will give enough time for you guys to rest.
I would rather we make it a little further in before we start
Well,
using up all our spells and rests.
No, that's
It's not a bad idea by any means.
Well, let's get closer then.
Fionn is gonna cast a spell. I'm just gonna cast protection from evil and good on Saskia.
Oh, his friend.
Just because she seems to be the one with the lowest amount of health. I don't know, but I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. I think the lowest AC too.
I will say too, maybe this is how it is, but the way Jacquette responded, his tone was a little different, not as cavalier. So maybe Septimus can tell that like maybe that spell's really got a grip on him still.
Mm-hmm.
He will use his staff of healing to lesser restoration him.
Hey.
Lesser restoration does not resolve maximum health. It's greater restoration for maximum health effects.
Oh my god.
Do you
Greater
have-
restoration would work. You do need diamonds. I know you have
Oh.
diamonds, so you would be able to use
I'm
those. I
not
know you're
using
saving them
diamonds.
for
Yeah,
revivifies,
I'm
but
not.
the other thing I have to ask you, because I think we mentioned this last time, is Magic Circle also has a reagent consumption. It has holy water or powdered silver and iron worth at least 100 silver pieces.
So
Jacquette's
spell
100 silver
consume it?
pieces.
The spell does consume it for Magic Circle. And I think last week we said that you had just bought some. Or we may have just not even approached it. Which, you know, I'm good with one mulligan there, but I'm also good with you having purchased some before leaving. You know, he's got to talk to someone, so I'll let him consider if he wants to, if he has.
You
the silver to
upset
spend.
him.
I deeply upset him by telling him his spell cost money.
How dare you, Sean?
I know.
Bring
but
the
you know-
economy into
But I
this.
know when you can cast a spell that keeps all of the enemy types around you out for an hour and stuff, it's gonna cost something.
Well,
S-
Fion's gonna take the lead once again and continues to stealth forward.
Before you do that, I'll give you a little description about the district you're about to enter, so you know what you're walking into.
Cool.
This last one was basically just a street with houses on either side. This one looks as though this was sort of the day-to-day market street. So it opens up a little wider than the previous section. It has a little bit more of a circular cobblestone with a large statue in the middle that goes up probably like pretty tall, like 60 feet tall. That has like a really still fountain in the bottom, not a flowing fountain like the one that was in the courtyard. This one's more like it probably had a gentle stream flowing into it. Now it's just sort of a brown and green morass of sludge. The statue is looks like it's of a holy figure. Bjorn, you would actually notice that the statue bears the same mask as yours.
Okay. I've had the mask on, like, I put it on, just now, I guess.
Yeah, but you'll notice that the statue has like accompanying other vestments to the mask. It has like pauldrons and a breastplate of a similar look. It has robes that seem to be attached with that attire, and it's just sort of holding one hand up aloft, where you can see at one point there was likely a flame that would burn in the hand.
Okay.
As there's some soot, and you can see kind of like a little half bowl there where someone would have lit a flame.
Did they get it from the French?
No, they didn't get it from the French, and it's not holding a torch. It's just hand outstretched to raise a flame.
Does it
with,
have
with scrolls in the other arm holding it up?
Yeah, pretty close.
It's not a tablet, and it's not a torch. It's scrolls, and the fire was coming from its hand. It has it also has a crown of spikes. No. And you can get up to the top. So that's in the center, and you see kind of all surrounding that in sort of rows and circles. Filling up the circle is decrepit old market stands. So some of them are like broken down wagons that are rotting. Some of them are more permanent structures, and then on the outskirts are buildings, like in the last one, decrepit buildings. But this area seems to be fairly self-contained. As opposed to the previous one, which was exposed to the harbor. This one has not as tall as the ramparts, but extending wrought iron fences on top of wall foundations that go up about 20 feet high that go around this area. You're standing in the little stone archway that leads in to this area that probably once had some doors on it, but are gone now.
Fiona is definitely heading towards the statue and looking for any plaques or inscriptions, unless there's, scary things in the way.
So that's what I'll ask you. How do you guys want to move forward? Do you want to just enter in here? Are you looking to do any kind of detection or stealth?
Fion's carefully going slowly, stealthily, but isn't necessarily like hiding behind things.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's staying out in the open, but he's trying to keep his he's trying to not make a lot of noise, and he's trying to keep his eyes and ears open, so that way he can possibly maneuver around where he thinks the ghosts may be.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not too worried about being out in the open.
Yeah. So
So
what about everybody
could
else?
cast Detect Good and Evil again. Make it a little easier if we're going to be doing this again.
I think that's a good idea.
I'll do that. Yeah, we know you're in a bag.
I never said it. I went back
Bag boy is bag boying.
Bad boys, bad boy.
Yeah,
Bag boy, what
I'll
you gonna
cast it.
do?
I'll cast it again.
Okay. Septimus, first thing you notice is that there are spirits nearby.
Oh my god.
But these ones, the first ones you notice are not guard wraiths, not haunts, not anything else. They are like the ghosts you saw sailing in. They are walking as if they are in a market. The rest of you, when Septimus points this out, can see that you can notice their footprints moving around in the market. You can see little spectral footprints, and you notice there are quite a lot of them now that you're cued into them. And now that you're really noticing them, you also, maybe calming down, you start to hear on the air just the sounds of a marketplace. Very low, thrumming almost. You just barely hear it. You almost hear your heart beat at the same time as you're listening to such a low sound. It just sounds like a lively marketplace. People moving about, going about their day throughout this street. Doesn't mean there aren't other spirits in there or hostile things, but these ones, like on the ship when left alone, don't seem to interrupt, although do have the ability to haunt and cause exhaustion, like they almost did to Fearn. But you notice them all that are pattering across these floors. You hear a few croaking, almost raven-like noises in the distance as you look and see some of those hand bats, those light stealers, as Jacquette called them, or insinuated, are just sort of perched up there and looking about, their eyes peered on the courtyard. How would you like to
Walking
approach?
stealthily.
I would say Fearn leads the way through the market, trying to take not walking in the center of these pathways, like these common paths where you can see like the ghost footsteps go by. He's kind of just like staying against walls, like just following the path, but like off to the side, like in the dirt. So he doesn't like accidentally bump into someone.
What I'll say is, because we're before we get to in the deeps of this district, especially given the last district blew up, I think we'll end with you seeing the pitter patter of the footsteps and sort of hearing the chorus of the market come alive somewhat, even though it has that haunting tone to it. Sort of this little preamble to you entering this place as That's you cool. All kind of lean against the stone wall, tired, a little beaten back from this last little encounter. And we'll pick up next week with you entering into the abandoned, haunted marketplace. Alrighty. Sounds good. All right.
Yay.
All right, so we'll pick that up next week with y'all in the haunted marketplace with all the ghosties. Hopefully there aren't any haunts in there or worse things. Let's see. We're going to send a raid on over to D&D Jordan Lee. So go ahead and give them some love from us in Paradise. And we'll catch y'all next week. No promises, but I may do some streaming on Wednesday or Thursday because I love this zone so much and I kind of feel a little inspired maybe to actually have this marketplace set up for you guys moving through it. So I might do a little bit of crafting this week. No promises.
Wow.
This guy. But we'll see. Or maybe I'll make more peers. But anyway, we will see you all next week or sooner or later. Have a good, lovely wherever you are.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.